All right. So, I guess I'll introduce it. You know what? I don't want to introduce it. I don't really care.
You don't care about introducing this
No.
recording?
No, I don't want to introduce the whole theme of it. I just want to capture what happens.
Okay. Sort of your down to earth recording. Nothing.
I want it to be
grandiose.
more. Yeah, I want it to be more real. I don't want it to be like a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to capture the real moments that are funny.
Basically, have to talk like there isn't a recording going on.
Yeah, you're gonna have to learn how to do that. I can tell because I can just tell. I can tell that you're. No offense, you're forcing just a smidge. Would you agree?
Yeah. I always sound a little different whenever
Whenever you
being
know you're
recorded. When
Yeah.
I know I'm being recorded,
Yeah.
I'll always sound a little different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I'm by myself, no recording, I guess I'll either think to myself or talk to myself, one or both.
Do you want anybody to know about you talking to yourself? I can cut that out.
No, I don't mind that at all.
You don't mind?
No.
Because I was gonna say what you should do is just keep a little recording microphone on yourself at all times. That way, when you start to talk to yourself, it catches it, and then you can share it, and people hear the stuff that you say to yourself.
Oh,
That'd be interesting.
I've always felt comfortable talking to myself. They used to say that if you talk to yourself, you were mentally unstable. But I tend to think that it's a way of collecting your own thoughts.
Yeah, your thoughts are you're talking to yourself anyway. Every time you think, you're basically talking. You're communicating to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the difference if it comes out of your mouth or not?
Right.
So.
I can imagine.
See that they're already going to like that. See this, the world needs this insight.
I'd say there's more pressing signs of mental instability than just talking to yourself.
Fair point.
If you walked inside of an Ingles butt naked on Christmas Eve, I think that'd be a good sign of mental illness.
Yeah, mass shooting, that's a pretty good indicator.
Yeah, that is certainly true.
But what if all the mass shooters were like caught on camera talking to themselves, then they try to draw a link between people who talk to themselves and mass shooters? The guns would still be blamed, of course, but
well, at that point, somebody would have to start a pro talk to yourself campaign to raise awareness. In this day and time, you can raise awareness for anything, even for flies. So
awareness for what's the word for that, for self-talkers? I guess I just made it self-talkers.
I was about to say aeroeroticism, but I don't think that applies.
Aeroeroticism. the love of the words coming out of here.
No.
Auto aerobic eroticism. Auto aerocism.
Masturbating while you're on the treadmill. That's what I was thinking of when you said aerobic. I put the two together.
Auto and aerobic.
Autoerotic and aerobic. So I don't know how many calories you burn masturbating, but I think
depends on how hard you go.
Yeah, that's true.
And depends on how fast your heart rate's going.
Well, in my case, I don't burn as much, so.
See, we're off to a great start. This is a fantastic idea.
The attempt to sound funny on a recording. Hopefully it'll make us some money. If not...
I don't care about the money. It's just more... Well, maybe long term.
I care about the money. I'm a greedy son of a bitch. Not really.
That's why I just turned and looked at you, because I knew that wasn't true. He's trying to be funny for the recording, but
Yeah.
it's not working.
No, it's not. It's not. No, it's not working.
Oh, man. Do you care if I put this on, share it with Facebook friends, too?
No, I don't care.
Okay, because that'd be interesting, I think, to hear not only strangers, but personal friends and families.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now, wouldn't that be something? Imagine our families tuning in, every podcast. Wow, it's a side of them I never saw, Mm-hmm. Wow, he's not a fucking, our children aren't fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? losers,
Losers.
introverted,
Yeah.
miserable
Oh yeah.
fucks. They're,
I always wonder what goes through my family members' minds when they think of me.
yeah.
Are they proud of me really deep down, or are they inwardly disappointed at my actions? Or
I'm gonna blow your mind here for a second. So I don't know if you know that much about physics, but on the quantum level, if you try to when you try to measure something,
yeah,
it changes the status of it, so you can't get an actual measurement of it because the act of measuring it changes everything.
mm-hmm.
I'm no physics expert, but that's kind of the general idea. Well, what if people are like that too? Now, someone's going to crucify me and say, "Oh my God, he's trying to take physics and apply it to that spiritual mumbo jumbo." But just think about it.
Yeah.
Your state is one way, like the way you are in a certain scenario is one way, but as soon as someone else observes you, it changes the way you are. So it's like it's hard to tell what's real and what's not.
Interesting.
I've always thought that.
I'll have to look into that more.
But like I said, someone's going to be, "Oh my God, he's trying to say spiritual mumbo jumbo about the quantum level." He's going to try to say that he's trying to ascribe emotions to the quantum level. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just making a creative observation that things at the atomic level, the quantum level, things change when you observe it, and I was like, hey, that's kind of like humans. It's just a creative association. That's all it is. Don't draw anything deeper than that.
Right.
Just interesting.
Right.
I hope nobody listens to this. I'm already pissed off at the people. I know what they're going to say, and I'm already mad at them. All right, we're moving on.
Naysayers.
Yeah, just nitpickers.
Critics.
Well, I mean, I like being a critic. I'm a critic.
Well, that means they're critics too. So
yeah, that's true.
We're all critics.
Everybody's a critic. Who said that?
Everybody's a critic.
Roger and Ebert, one of them.
Everybody's a critic. Who said that? I don't know. Alex Trebek. I'm just a wild guess.
You need to branch out your TV horizons away from Jeopardy. Watch something else.
Jeopardy is probably one of the few things I like on television. I'm tired of all the rerun movies on HBO and Stars and all that. I don't care for Cartoon Network anymore. I think the cartoon quality is very dismal at this point.
See, you need this for you need your voice out. This is why you're getting your voice out there.
Right.
Anyway, I'm just sorry. Go on.
Pawn Stars on the History Channel.
Pawn.
I like that.
Pawn Stars.
Pawn Stars.
Pawn.
Yeah, I've got a 17th century painting passed down from my grandfathers and grandmothers. I say it's worth about at least $18,000. I'll give you $5 for it.
In case you don't know what the whoosh is, if you watch the show, the little numbers pop up and it has that sound effect. So
yeah. Only people who have, I guess, what they would call a touch of Asperger's can remember them little sound effects like that or duplicate it. That's just
or explain it from their best friend.
A high retentive memory or
selective memory.
Selective retentive photographic memory. There you go.
Exactly. So, I have all these quotes on my blog from different stream viewers.
Yeah.
I can remember some specific ones instantly. I can reference them just like that. I can remember, oh yeah, this person said that, and I can reference it just like that. But comes to more important stuff, I have no idea.
I tend to have a number of childhood memories that are pretty vivid. I've always felt pretty confident in my memory. I guess long-term memory, but I guess it depends on the topic. Just the other day I did a post on Facebook about 9/11, and it
was a good post.
I was trying to briefly recreate what it was like, what I saw, and how I felt. So that's an example of a vivid memory. I was 13 years old. No, No, I was 12. Never mind. I was 12 when that happened.
I was 9.
He was 9 years old. Yep. It's crazy to think that it's been almost 19 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
It's been like close to 18, so basically from birth to tobacco buying age, old tobacco buying age, it's going to change federally to 21, which is bullshit.
Right.
But
yeah, I saw a Facebook article about that. They raised the tobacco age to 21.
Hey, fuck Trump. You heard it here first.
Oh, goodness.
Oh.
Well, even though they raise the age, I'm sure they'll find ways to get a pack from their
Oh, of course.
21-year-old brothers and sisters.
Oh, yeah, of course. But if you get caught, now you get punished. You know?
I wonder what the punishment is.
I don't know. A fine.
Maybe lifetime in prison.
Yeah. Then you'll get all the cigarettes you want.
Gosh, dang, yeah. I don't know, though. Those cigarettes, you don't know where they've been in prison.
Well, you know, but you're desperate for a smoke anyway.
Yeah.
For any listeners who don't know, they're usually stored up the asshole.
That's what I was thinking, exactly. You did a good job reading my mind just then. Psychic powers, psychic connection. Psychic humor connection.
Anyone who watches my streams is going to be like, he has never laughed this much. It's because y'all aren't funny. Sorry, I'm ranting and venting to them because they're really not funny. You're funnier than them.
Cody is the ranter of the two of us, I would say.
That's fair.
I'm not sure what I am.
I'm a critic. That's what I am.
Cody is the... Well... Let's see. I consider Cody to be the economic and political critic. And entertainment critic as well. I am a religious critic, primarily. Because that's the only topic I feel decently informed about to criticize.
And emotionally connected enough to.
Right.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
Whenever I really... So I've got a lot of room improvement for words. Like both of our backgrounds, I would argue, are writing backgrounds. Because we're introverted. That's kind of our first, I would say, maybe our first artistic outlet, you know?
Yeah.
For me, writing and comedy both kind of came kind of close together.
Uh-huh.
But what was I going to say? Shit. Oh. So, I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to, like, get better at using words, like, to really absorb the definition of words in my head, because I've never been good enough at that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, for me, when I discovered the word, I really started to break down, like, the word criticism and critic and critique.
Mm-hmm.
And really looked into that definition.
Mm-hmm.
And when I really looked into it, I was like, why have I not absorbed this word into myself before? Because that's essentially me.
Right.
That's the way I've always been. I mean,
right.
I've probably been a critic since I was like a child. My dad would just, you know, he would just ridicule me for it.
Right.
I was like, I can't help it. Like about Christmas lights. You know, it's annoying that I mean, call me a Grinch because this is what, the 27th, 2019.
Yeah.
You know, I'm lazy too. All right, I'm unbelievably lazy. I mean, I don't cook. Anyone who watches my stream knows about how I feel about cooking. I'm not going to recap it here because it would take too long. But I've just, you know. My point is there's certain things that trigger me that I could just break apart, but it's not fake. It's just naturally how I am. It's like a analytical mind, I guess you could say. A critical mind. That's what I'm trying to say. I need to absorb that word into myself because it's such an appropriate identifier.
Yeah.
And it's a word that I haven't really used that often or understood that often because of my own shortcomings with language.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I've struggled with language, trying to find keywords, vocabulary.
Yeah.
So when I discovered that word, it was like the gates of heaven had been opened, and I just understood everything, like about myself.
Right, right.
So now that's just the easiest way for me to introduce myself. I'm a critic. Oh, what type of critic? An existential critic. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I need to learn more about words, what they mean. Try to understand language better in general. I think I understand it a little better, but I would like to find the strongest words for what I'm trying to say, the words that capture the essence of what I'm trying to say. One of my favorite books, Rabbit Run by John Updike. I enjoy Updike's descriptive abilities, but he doesn't just describe, he finds the exact, concise word for what he's trying to say. He doesn't just describe for the sake of describing. He finds the exact word. There's exactness to what he does.
Yeah.
And I think the key as far as writing goes, in one way, one of the challenges of any writer is finding the best word that fits your purpose.
And for me, just to interject really quickly, I need to increase my vocabulary in general so I have a larger selection pool.
Yeah, me too.
That's what happens when you're born in the sticks. You just learn to talk a certain way, and especially if you're smart and other people are insecure, you kind of suppress your own vocabulary to fit in with the peer group. Right. That's what I did.
Right.
And now I'm like, God almighty, I wish I would have fucking done more to have better words.
Yeah. With when I did the 9/11 post, I took my my synonym dictionary. Well, not dictionary, but it's a huge thesaurus I got from Barnes & Noble. And anytime I saw a word I didn't feel was right or strong enough, I would try to find a better word. And 9 times out of 10, I would find a better word.
Yeah.
So a synonym, a thesaurus is a good place to find a different word instead of repeating the same word 10 times in one paragraph.
Yes. For me, like it's a matter of absorbing that into my daily routine, into myself.
Yeah.
Because for some reason it's easy to be lazy and content.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a part of me that still has this fear of being a smarty pants or coming across as arrogant. Now, granted, like I said, if anyone watches the stream, wow, you afraid of coming across as arrogant. But, just over the course of my life, I've always felt like there were some people who feel insecure when you express your intelligence, when you're not trying to make them feel like shit.
Yeah.
You're just trying to be yourself, the best that you can, the fullness of yourself.
Yeah.
And I think I need to get back to that. Now, it's been a long process to get back to that for me, where I can be comfortable with my intelligence. Now, for me, it's been easier. By that same token, I've worked on humility too. Because I needed to do both. There were times where I needed to work on my humility, and there were times where I needed to work on my self-esteem, both simultaneously.
Yeah.
So for me, the humility was that's kind of what I've been focusing on, because I can't stand, like getting into a debate, and then you lose, and you realize you lost, and then getting butthurt about it. Like, why?
Yeah.
I used to do that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, damn, he beat me.
Yeah.
Who like, why do you care?
Yeah.
If you learn something.
Yeah.
That's what I've been working on. And to me, that's what I love about comedy so much, is it's the exact opposite of ego. It's not taking yourself seriously. Let me make sure it's still recording. Okay. It's not taking yourself seriously. It's purposefully trying to make yourself look like a jackass to eliminate your ego.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the best whenever someone else's ego thinks that they're better than you because you've purposely acted like a jackass, like, wow, that guy's a jackass. It like feeds into my ego, like, wow, they don't get it.
Yeah.
They don't understand it's purposeful.
Yeah.
They don't understand. Like, that's just the natural way that anyone who's uptight, because like we come from a religious background.
Yeah.
You know, we're not. I mean, I know there's people who are better experts than us, but we have a lot of experience with the strictness, the uptightness, the self-righteousness, the condemnation, the condemnatory nature of staunchness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the antithesis of comedy. And you know, whenever it tries to do comedy, it's not funny.
No,
it comes across as disingenuous.
That reminds me of the Funny Farm or Funny Barn in Tennessee or whatever they call it. Clean humor, quote unquote.
Yeah.
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 9 times out of 10, clean humor is not funny.
No.
I can't recall an instance in which clean humor has really made me giggle and really pulled my funny bone, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, in my opinion, it's because it's not real. Comedy has to have authenticity to it. It has to be a reality to it, and then you exaggerate the reality.
Yeah.
That loses from the get-go because, number one, it's not based in reality. Number two, it's not exaggerated enough.
It reminds me of a joke on the Hallmark Channel.
Of what?
A joke from the Hallmark Channel. Let's see if I can... Let's see.
Are you thinking of a specific one? When have you been watching the Hallmark Channel?
Well, my great-grandmother loves to watch it, so...
Okay, gotcha.
I sit on the couch, and I'm just like, oh, man, this is a creepy channel. In its own way.
Yeah.
I see this overly happy dad talking to his overly happy son, and...
well, I'm going to interject here real quickly.
Yeah.
It's a channel for women, so of course the emotions have to be exaggerated.
Gosh. Well...
I know you don't agree with me.
There's not a lot of difference between Hallmark and Lifetime.
No.
Hallmark is calm Christian women television, and Lifetime is women that have a very hyper sense of estrogen. So
it's for the non-Christian sluts, basically.
Basically, if you're a woman and you're insane, Lifetime is for you.
So if you're a woman.
I knew he was going to say that.
We're canceled.
Lifetime is the channel you turn to when you're in a hysteric mood. If you're a woman.
So if you're a woman.
It should be called the Hysteric Channel, because that's really what it is.
History Channel. A play on the History Channel. The History Channel, the Hysteric Channel.
The Hysteric Channel, yes.
Oh, God, we're fucked, man.
I mean, if you've got a plot line where a pregnant 16-year-old is threatening to kill her 3 friends in their sleep for making fun of her being pregnant, that's a little hysteric, I think. I mean, certainly it wouldn't be nice to be made fun of if you're pregnant, but to stalk them and threaten them with a butcher knife, that sounds like a cheap Halloween spinoff for the Lifetime channel. But anyway.
You sure you're okay with this going public?
Yes, I'm.
Because I know me and you both, because we're introverted natures, historically we've had a hard time being honest with people and expressing ourselves.
Yeah.
And we've both worked on that very diligently throughout our entire lives to figure out how to get ourselves out there.
I still have a lot of work to do, but I mean, every little bit helps for me.
So that's why I think
whether it's a meme or whether it's a post or whether it's a recording.
I'll help you. I'm going to take credit here. I think I've helped you out a lot with it because of my Facebook posts and posting stuff with family, seeing it and not caring what they say. Mm-hmm. Now, Grant, maybe I'm projecting too much, but I think I know it helped a little bit at least. Mm-hmm. Like, well, you know what?
I think Facebook as a whole, a lot of people are more honest.
Yeah, that's a good point.
On Facebook than they are in real life.
That's a good point.
Which is, I wish it was the reverse. I wish I was more honest in life and outside life, and as much. If I am as honest in real life as I am on Facebook, then I'm doing good.
Yeah. Because
then there's no emotional disconnect between the two.
Yeah.
But when I'm on Facebook, I write, and when I get closer to what I mean when I write than when I do when I talk to somebody, I think. So.
Yeah.
But still,
You're not, because you're
I'm
not
not
as
a
afraid
threat,
of being
yeah.
judged. You don't.
Yeah.
It's like going back to the whole, if you measure a quantum thing, it changes its state type of thing. It's like, well, it's different when you're face to face with somebody. You change subconsciously,
Yeah. Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah.
How long do you think we've been recording for? Don't look.
I think I remember it being 20 minutes.
You looked, damn it. You
Yeah,
looked before me.
I did look. I saw
Okay.
the 1836 earlier.
Okay.
So anyway, if you're watching the Hallmark Channel, don't expect genuine humor. Or a
Well,
funny
women aren't
farm in
funny.
Tennessee.
Gavin McGinnis proved it.
Women are not funny.
Or actually, Christopher Hitchens proved it first.
Christopher Hitchens. Women
Christ-
are not funny.
Yeah.
I've never heard Christopher Hitchens talk about women.
I'll look it up. His thought process goes like this: men will choose women because they're hot and it doesn't matter as much. Women, they're more cognizant of, men being murderers. They're looking for someone to take care of them. They're looking for a good guy. Of course, everyone's looking for both, but it's a spectrum.
Yeah.
Just that's a rough outline. He basically said women aren't funny because they don't need to be funny because we're going to like them anyway.
Right.
But
yeah.
with men, it's like, okay. And it kind of makes sense, too, from a standpoint of women are more social. They need more communication. So they need men with better communication skills. That's what they seek in a partner because that's how they are.
Yeah.
Us, we're like, no, she's hot. What I mean? Like, that's our nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
We still want someone to be able to talk to and all that and
Yeah.
have character traits that we like, but it's a spectrum. And the attractiveness is very high on the spectrum. It's like the first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah.
I want to get your opinion on this. It seems like there's a lot of disingenuousness in the culture today. Like, let's just talk about outrage culture in general. It doesn't seem like it's very authentic. What I mean by that is,
Now, when you say outrage culture, could you be a little more specific about that?
I forget you're not as connected into the internet as I am.
I'm imagining you're talking about liberal social justice outrage.
Yeah.
Okay, so my intuition was correct.
Yeah.
There.
But it seems like there's a lot of it is deceptive, I would say. Like pretending to be outraged in order to gain social standing, social points. Who can get offended the hardest to gain social status. There's a disingenuousness to it, I feel like. It does not come across honestly and present its fullness, I would say.
Yeah. The cause that they claim to stand for doesn't really hit you deep enough, it seems. I'm not really affected by, I guess I would need an example. I don't know. Well, you go ahead and go with what you're saying.
Doesn't it come across more as like an ego boost, like social standing, not genuine compassion, but more like the old like the Pharisees. Look at how much I care about the poor. Look at how much I care about the poor. Look at what I've done. Look at how much money I've given to them. That sort of thing. That's what it comes across. Just atheistic. Look at all the groups I've supported. But it's instead of saying it overtly like that, it's more like you should care more about it, like I implicitly do by saying this sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a kind of goody two-shoes, holy roller kind of thing.
Holier than thou.
Yeah.
Metallica. That's a good song.
Well, there's a lot of what's the phrase I'm looking for? if you're not standing side to side with me on this issue.
If you aren't with us, you're against us.
If you're not with us, you're against us.
Yeah.
Or if you don't pick either side, you're against us either too.
Yeah, I can see that.
If you're not hand to hand with me on this issue, whatever that issue is, then something's wrong with you. You're not paying attention. Your morals and values are not in the right place.
No, admittedly, I'm pretty guilty. I can be pretty guilty of that. I'll admit that.
I think anytime anyone is zealous over any political or social religious cause, that's very easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
You want people to see the goodness that you think you see.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people do it for an ego trip, but then I think some people genuinely want people to have that same burning fire that they have.
Yeah.
And whenever they don't see you have that fire,
it's an affront.
It can be an affront. It can be a discouragement. It can be depressing to them. There's a number of different ways it comes about. But
And I'm fully guilty of that. And that's part of the reason why I decided to stop being so serious all the time.
Right.
That's why I decided to shift more into comedy instead of...
You will see a whole lot of it if you go to any chat box under any political post. You will see 10,000 people say, "Oh, those aren't the facts. This is what really happened. Oh, sorry, try again." I hate that phrase. "Oh, sorry, try again. I know you tried to explain, but I just refuted you. Sorry, try again." I'm like, oh, I'm so goddamn offended.
How often have you seen that phrase? Try again.
That, I want to say 10.5 times.
And that was enough for you.
Yeah, it was enough for me.
Yeah.
That is so annoying. It's like something a lonely, nerdish kid who spends his time eating cheese puffs and masturbating alone in his bedroom would say to somebody.
You just offended me. That's me.
I didn't realize you...
You didn't realize I masturbated? I talk about it all the time.
While eating cheese puffs?
Yeah. I guess I got orange dick. Like Trump sucked it.
Dang.
Orange man bad, but good at suck.
Well, if I triggered you, at least I triggered a laugh.
Oh. No, you didn't trigger me. Oh, shit. Orange man bad, but good at suck.
Oh, man.
Woo. Our families, my family would probably, I feel like my family would be more accepting of this than yours would.
Yes, I agree. Though I don't know your family that well, I'm almost willing to agree just by instinct.
Intuition?
My intuition says your family is more laid back than mine is. One side of my family is very serious and the other side's very laid back.
Right. And that's, when you have two opposite character traits like that, it makes for a wonderful child full of internal contradictions and conflicts and self-esteem issues. And, oh, yeah.
Yeah. That sucks.
I've thought about that myself.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to live with, but...
This is fantastic. We're only at 30 megabytes. It's like less than a megabyte per minute. That's wonderful.
Pretty good.
So
what'd you get for Christmas?
Money, potpourri, I forget.
I got the usual. Money, clothes, sweets.
Yeah. Hey, having a home cooked meal is enough for me. I got leftovers. That's wonderful for me.
I ate 2 plates of macaroni and cheese at my grandmother's house. It's been a while since I actually ate a lot of macaroni and cheese like that. That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Some peanut butter balls and fudge.
Yep.
Some good stuff.
Peanut butter fudge. That's what I had.
Peanut butter fudge is real good too.
My mind was blown the first time I learned that fudge was not always chocolate.
Right.
So now I want see. This is what I'm talking about with the definition of words. I want to look up the definition of fudge. As a matter of fact, I might be able to do it now. I don't think it'll stop recording if I do this. I think it's still recording. It says it's recording. Well, perfect. I can pull it up on my phone real quick. I want to look up the definition of fudge here. Fudge, a soft, rich candy made of sugar, milk, butter, and flavoring. So it's more about the consistency of it. Mm-hmm. Flavoring can be anything.
Right.
You could have butterscotch fudge. You could have caramel fudge. That's very interesting.
That is interesting.
So it's about the consistency of the food. Which makes sense because chocolate fudge is the same as peanut butter fudge. It's almost like that's why they call them both fudge.
Right.
But when you have a definition, it provides authority behind it.
Right.
Instead of using your intuition. Because when I did it, throughout my life, when I've relied on my intuition to define words, I'm always wrong. I get ridiculed mercilessly through it.
Right.
So when you have the authority behind a definition of a word, that's when you know you're in the right.
Right.
That's cool. So now all right, now I'm actually triggered though. Because what about fudge brownies? You know, brownies, you got two different types of brownies. You've got the brownies that are almost like cake. Like grainy, fall apart when you bite into them, brownies. And then you've got the ones that are more compact. When you bite into them, they're softer, but they stick together more. You know what I'm talking? Like a Little Debbie fudge brownie. It has the sprinkles on it, right?
Yeah.
When you bite into it, it's not a granular cake. They're both called brownies. And they're both called fudge brownies. So some motherfucker has decided that fudge means chocolate. That is not right. You agree?
Yeah.
They're called fudge brownies. But fudge, we've already looked up the definition of fudge. All right, there's icing on top of the brownie. That's icing. That's not fudge. You got the brownie underneath. That's not fudge because fudge doesn't mean chocolate. Am I right or am I wrong?
I reckon you're right.
Oh, you reckon? You just don't care as much as I do. Story of my life.
I'm not as triggered by this as you
I am
are.
triggered. Do you? As much as I've struggled with definitions, as soon as I start to get one accurate, Little Debbie says, "Fuck you. This is what it means." Well, fuck Little Debbie. That's what I say. Wait,
that triggered me.
Out of context.
No, I'm just kidding.
Out of context, that sounds bad. Fuck Little Debbie.
I know, right?
Or a pedophile? No. The fucking cake company. That actually triggers me. Fudge. That's egregious.
That's a big word. Egregious.
That's my favorite word. I think that might be my favorite word.
One of my favorite words is, oh my gosh, no, I was thinking of another word. Oh gosh, I forgot it. Wow, it escaped my mind. Aberration. That's it.
Define aberration. I'll look it up. I want to look it up and compare
is a departure from a certain belief or custom.
Oh, I can see why that's your favorite word.
Yeah.
That's a good word. I want to look it up and compare.
It's a rebellion against an accepted behavior, standard, or norm. That's not the exact word for word definition, but
I always thought it was like an illusion. That's what I'm...
Illusion?
Yeah, like ILLU.
No.
See what I'm saying? That's why I need...
That could be one of the less known uses of the word.
Actually,
but
a disorder or abnormal alteration in one's mental state. So it could be used that way.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
But you're right too.
An abnormality.
Yeah. Okay. I can see why that's one of your favorite words.
I like it.
Oh, and it's also it's you. That does make sense because oftentimes I hear it. It's like it's always used in a negative connotation when I hear it.
Yeah. Certainly, that first definition, if it's ever used, it's probably going to be used in a negative context.
And if you wonder why his voice is fluctuating in and out, he's rocking on a rocking chair, and I am too. But I'm moving the microphone to my rhythm, and I'm not rocking to his. So, that's just an aside. So now I'm going to stop, and he's going to keep going. Actually, I'm going to purposely do it the opposite. That way my voice is constant, but yours will.
My rocking is an aberration from the accepted rocking norm.
A recording setup is an aberration. Oh.
Abnormal.
This is a lot better than the last time we talked online. When I called that publisher on the phone and was talking, and you called in too.
I recall that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny. So, Devin, what writing do you do? And then I can hear somebody laugh in the background. I don't know if that was you or not.
It was, yeah. I wonder who it could be.
I can hear you laugh in that recording. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I like to do short stories. I got about 16 short stories writing on. Wow, gosh.
Yeah, it's much better for us to do this without a mediary.
Yeah. It's
especially when
less
it's
controlled, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when it's theirs and we're ruining what they're doing, and we don't belong with anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a video game I want to play, but I don't know which one. I played Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie this week. I tried to see how fast I could beat them.
Oh God, you're a speed runner.
Yep. Yep, I sure am.
One of these days you should upload some speed running stuff.
I'd like to do a walkthrough of the video games I've played. Just playing them the way I like to play them, and then sort of like I do Devin's history of video games. That'd be pretty fun. But I still got some games I gotta conquer. But I'd like to go back from the beginning and have some kind of video on the internet, YouTube.
Yeah, you need to develop your online presence beyond your friends and family. I'll help with that.
Yeah.
Oh, you bastard. Yeah.
I think I'm going to go inside and finish my chicken strips.
Okay. I'll pause the recording here.
Okay.
We can pick it up some other time. I guess that's the end of the first one.
End of part 1?
Yeah, end of part 1.
Okay.
Alright, we're on. I'm just going to kind of leave it halfway between us there.
Okay.
Actually, let me blah, blah, blah. I'm talking, blah, blah, blah. Alright, you go ahead. I want to test it.
I'm sitting here looking at my cell phone, taking notes on Magic the Gathering.
Alright, that's enough.
Yeah. Taking notes on Magic the Gathering. Trying to understand what each of the colors does in the game of Magic. Trying to find similarities and differences and combos.
Alright, this is just a test. Go on, continue your Magic discussion. I know you're dying to.
Nah, that's basically what I'm doing. Nothing much to add, I guess. I like to take notes on certain things. Helps me clear my thoughts instead of talking to myself.
Yeah, that's very important.
Because, as we've already established, talking to yourself is a sign of a mental disorder. So, I like to take notes. We need to play Texas Hold'em one day, like we used to.
Yeah, what brought that to your mind on Facebook?
I was searching for a meme to do for the day, and I saw the Austin Powers one where he says, "I'd like to live dangerously."
Oh, okay.
And that triggered a memory I had in tech where I was playing Texas Hold'em with Cody. Let's see. I remember playing Texas Hold'em with Cody at college and
Community college.
Community college, yeah. And I would leave my opening hand face down, and I'd look at everybody and say, "I like to play dangerously." And sure enough, I actually won a pot. One round doing that.
I saw on YouTube, I was looking up poker videos because I used to love to watch poker when I was a kid. There was a guy, I don't remember his name. He was in a professional tournament. Hand after hand after hand after hand after hand. He did not look at his cards. And he kept winning.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, there was a YouTube video of a guy talking about it. It was absurd.
Hell yeah.
And it triggers me because I love playing poker until I start to lose, and then I lose my mind. I can't stand losing at poker. It ticks me off so much. That's almost why I can't play it. It triggers me so bad. When I win, it's great, but when I lose, I get livid.
Wow.
With myself.
Huh.
Yeah.
Damn.
It makes me so angry.
You have high standards when it comes
Unbearably
to
high standards. But yeah, I was playing poker. I have been playing poker a little bit more on. I think it's Play WSOP, Play World Series of Poker. It's not for money, but I love poker. I used to play on Facebook, but I always end up quitting because I get absolutely triggered.
Right.
I can't stand it.
Huh.
That's just the ego in me, I guess. Because poker runs my family. My mom said her dad ran a poker hall, and one of my uncles bluffs all the damn time and somehow wins. Right when you figure out he bluffs all the time, he'll actually have a good hand. Like, it's just unbelievable.
Huh.
My mom's good at poker. It's like in my blood. I'm probably the worst out of all of them, but
right.
It runs in my blood. I love it. Until it triggers me, then I hate it.
I'd like to play it more often.
I should. You know what? That's another thing we should do. I just thought of it. One of these days, we should just record ourselves playing poker, but with cameras.
Mm-hmm. We should.
But that's a long-term thing, because we got to find space.
Devin and Cody are the only two left. Here comes the flop.
Mike Sexton. I love Mike Sexton.
My name's Mike Sexton. Wow, Devin's got 4 hearts. He's got to make Cody. He's got to throw Cody off, though. Yeah, Cody's real good at reading his opponents.
That's Vince, the other guy. Vince is not calm. That's not 5.3K in the pot. Everything ends on a high note.
Somebody's going home big tonight.
I think I'm gonna separate these podcasts by days. Whatever day it's recorded, that's just gonna be one podcast, regardless of the subject. That's gonna be the easiest way for me to organize it. Because everything's gonna be so sporadic. I'm not making 2 separate videos for this.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a long format thing.
It's good to make it day by day.
Yeah, I think so. That'll just be the title of the video. The CD podcast, and then the title of the video is just going to be the date.
Right.
I don't even want to tell what topics are discussed in the video. Mm-hmm. I want people to find out for themselves.
Right.
Just listen to it. If you don't want to listen to it, don't. But I don't want to give too much detail. It's just going to be, you don't know what to expect.
I don't know what you could contribute.
To what?
The only thing I have to contribute is Magic the Gathering. I'm out of topics to discuss.
Something will come to you.
My mind is drawing a blank at the moment. That's one of my problems. I can't have consistent verbalization.
You don't need it. Believe me. I was gonna surf Facebook and do shit, but I really don't. I don't want to. I'm just gonna sit in silence. I don't need all that stimulation in my life right now. I get enough of that as it is.
Right.
That's all I do with my life, really. Social media. Searching for shit. I need new hobbies. I feel like we've had this discussion before. I'm having deja vu.
We've had it before. We've talked about having different hobbies.
Yeah. I know I want to drive I'm low in openness, I think. When the personality traits, the big five. You know about the big five personality traits?
No, I do not.
So there's different spectrums. There's like introversion, extroversion. That's one side of it.
Right.
One personality trait. There's openness to experience. There's conscientiousness. You should look it up. It's very interesting.
Huh.
There's been a lot of research done into studying personality traits. And the one about openness always confuses me, because at first I thought that was openness about how open you are and how honest you are.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's more extroversion. I think openness is a trait about being open to new experiences.
Okay.
And if that's the case, I'm very, very, very low in openness.
Yeah.
But I'm at the point where I realize I need other things in my life to supplement things in my life.
Right.
And it's hard for me to find something that, like I have a guitar.
Right.
That your brother gave me.
Right.
The learning curve is so high and I don't care enough to learn it. It doesn't resonate with me.
Right.
I'm so picky. I'll probably be ridiculed for this, for how picky I am. I think that's anyone who's a critical person is going to be picky.
Yeah. Of course.
That's their nature.
Right.
So I'm picky about my own hobbies.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick up the guitar because I'd never done it before.
Right.
A big thing for me is I talk about this all the time because it's so within me. Envy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about trying to keep myself from being envious.
Uh-huh.
So to me, I saw those rock stars up there. I was like, well, I want to try that.
Right.
And I picked up the guitar and I was like, this is not in my nature,
mm-hmm.
and I don't care to learn. So I moved on. I don't care about being a rock star anymore.
Right. Right.
So I'm trying to find stuff that really, where I'm kind of naturally inclined already.
Right.
And something that resonates with me.
Mm-hmm.
So currently the only things I can think of are driving fast cars, because I love to drive fast.
Right.
You don't.
No.
Very cautious. We're very different. It's probably a good thing, but at the same time, I do love to drive fast. But I want to be able to do it I need to be able to do it in like a safe, controlled way.
Right.
Like a racetrack or something. But the last time we went to the beach and did the go-karts, I got motion sickness because the track was too small. That's what the problem was. If there would have been more straightaways
mm-hmm.
and less curves, I think I would have been better. But it was basically all curves, and
I didn't realize you got motion sickness when you did that.
Yeah, it made me really motion sick.
Gotcha. Yeah, there are a lot of curves on them go-kart tracks.
Yeah.
I hate it too when you're going down a curve and it seems like it's going of its own will, pushing you somewhere. It's almost like, well, for me anyway, it always felt like the wheel would jerk a certain way by itself.
Are you talking about at the go-karts?
Yeah, go-kart.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sort of like a bumper car.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
A weird sensation. But anyway.
Yeah, I love to drive fast. I would love to go to stunt driving school. But that's what I'm trying to say, is that I'm low in openness, so I'm not going to actually do the things to do it. And another thing, too, I hate being in a situation where I think to myself, this is going to be a good idea, and then I get into it, and I'm afraid of not being able to get out of a situation.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What if I get into a situation and I don't like it and I need to get out?
Yeah, and you can't get out.
And you can't get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, ladies.
You're afraid of falling into a trap, an existential trap a painful existential trap.
My whole life has been a painful existential trap. I've been trying to leave forever.
Well, that's one trap you might never get out of.
One day.
One day you will, but hopefully not in the near future.
Well, speak for yourself.
Welcome to the trap that is called life.
Yeah, exactly. The things, so here's where I'm very different from most people. The things that bother me the most are the things I can't change.
Right.
Everyone else I've talked to, they can accept the fact that they can't change it, and it doesn't bother them.
Right.
But it's the fact that I can't change it that bothers me the most.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm starting to get to the point where I do realize that negative energy is a little bit unnecessary. Because you can really, drive yourself mad with it.
Right.
And that's what I've been doing for the past few years. And I've been trying to stop.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think for me it's very important to qualify my critical nature.
Yeah.
Because there's value in criticism.
Right.
Number one, it's my nature. I can't get rid of it completely.
Right.
I can't fake it. I can't fake my personality. But you can be constructive with it.
Right.
And productive with it.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to do. And I think another thing for me is not going out and seeking negativity as far as personal negativity. Like I used to go out and seek anger, look for things to be angry about.
Yeah.
Well, what does that do? That makes you angry.
Right.
And then you have an anger problem.
Yeah.
It's too much to handle.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to be angry about things that present themselves to you. It's another thing to go out and look for it.
Right.
That's what I learned.
Right.
Particularly when driving.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I'm trying to find the appropriate boundaries for my personality.
Gotcha.
What can I do with my personality traits within this productive boundary?
Gotcha.
And as far as my limitations go, I'm just trying to figure out my own limitations too. So.
How would that play out in your driving?
Just people moving too slow. I get pissed off, tailgate them, they move over. Bright light people.
I bet you get real mad whenever somebody's in the fast lane and they're not going fast enough.
It used to be worse.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be a lot worse.
Right.
I'm surprised I didn't get killed.
Right.
Because the speedometer in my car didn't work.
Right.
So I had no idea how fast I was going.
Right.
So I would just drive as fast as I wanted to.
Right.
And it was always faster than everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they were going too slow, I would tailgate them to get them to move over, or I would bright light them to get them to move over.
Right.
Which I admit, very immature of me and not a good idea. And anyway, I admit that. That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to admit. Humility, character flaws.
Yeah.
But it's not. I'm not going to excuse that. Sometimes someone can get a hint, but other times it goes too far. I was going too far with it. I admit that. And then when I got a speedometer, I realized, wow, I'm speeding a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Basically what I did was I have Waze installed on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
It uses GPS to measure your speed.
Right.
You can mark certain things. It's basically like a GPS map of where you're driving, and there's a speedometer in the corner.
Right.
And you can mark things on it for other drivers. So if there's a speed trap ahead, you can mark it. I do that all the time.
Right.
Or if there's a hazard in the road or something. And it also, since it's GPS, you can use it for directions.
Right.
So I put that on my dash, and I was like, how fast have I been going? And in every 35, besides in downtown, right? In every 35 mile an hour zone, I was doing 50. That's just normal for me.
Right.
Up and down hills and curves and all that. And in 55, I was doing 70. And that's what my ticket was. When I got the ticket earlier this year, I was doing 70 and a 55. And that was just normal for me, doing 70. Now I do about 65 now that I can tell how fast I'm going.
Right.
So I only do 10 over instead of 15 over.
Interesting.
And then on the interstate, I was doing 90.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's on a 70 mile. That's 20 miles over the speed limit.
Mm-hmm. Every day, going to Walmart to work, I was doing 90. 90 there, 90 back. 90 there, 90 back. 90 there, 90 back.
Dang.
Yep. Never got a ticket in 2 years.
That's amazing.
I know. I was when I saw how fast I was going. I was like, oh my God. How did I not get caught?
Yeah.
But man, ever since I got that ticket and I've slowed down, I realized I need to have a driving outlet that's legal.
Right.
So I'm really disappointed that go-kart thing made me sick because I'll have to go get my charger here in a second. Actually, it's in my pocket. I'm disappointed that go-kart thing didn't work out because when I got that ticket, I felt like a part of me died. I was like, it's over.
Right.
What am I going to do now? How am I going to feel alive? My life is so boring.
What, 22 minutes? So Walter, this is part 2, so we've done. First one was 45.
Done an hour.
That's over an hour. Over an hour of randomness.
Well, have you ever, Joe Rogan is, right?
Joe Rogan.
Oh, God, you're going to get ridiculed mercilessly.
Probably will. I've heard of it, but I'm not that familiar with
Well,
it.
he used to be the host of Fear Factor.
Oh, okay.
He has a podcast. He's a comedian. He has a podcast.
Okay.
I think it's the most popular podcast in the world. So you're going to be...
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
And so he just has all different types of people. He talks to them. Sometimes it's for 3.5 hours. Sometimes it's for 5 hours. Just the whole thing uploaded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's very popular.
Okay.
This medium is very popular. It makes
Okay.
sense. It's just, you're looking for interesting conversations.
Right.
You can listen to it while you exercise if it's interesting enough,
Right.
It's fascinating
Right.
when people decide to listen to stuff like this. We'll try that.
Yeah, that should work.
I guess I'll sit over there with you. The setting is very, yeah.
The setting is interesting.
Yeah. Audio only formats are kind of magical because you have to use your imagination when you listen to it.
Right.
And you always wonder, what's going on. You can't help but wonder.
Right.
Anytime there's something you don't know, you want to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I do that a lot when I listen to podcasts. I just ate, so I can't breathe. I do that a lot when I listen to podcasts. I'm trying to envision their space, and every little detail they give, it's like, wow, they gave us a nugget. It's easy in my brain. I can visualize it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to give them too many details about this. So what have you been into lately? Besides Christmas.
That's it. Christmas.
Still going to those tournaments?
No, I don't go to them tournaments anymore. I just...
When was the last time you went to a tournament?
Oh... Well, about a month ago, I guess. Over a month ago. I just play video games and read and write and look through the cards on the internet and lately mainly video games.
I've told the stream about your love for video game music.
Oh, really?
Oh, I need to show you a video I made.
What kind of video is it?
Oh, did you see? No, did you? I sent it to you. The Sonic the Hedgehog video. Did I send you to that? I sent you that. I don't know. You might not have watched it. Remember?
I can't recall.
You remember what happened at the beach, right? Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, Tim Allen.
Well, I made that. Did you ever watch it?
No, not that.
I'm pulling it up.
You pull it up.
It works really well. So the stream will get to hear it too. I mean, the fucking recording will get to hear it too.
I'll never look at Tim Allen the same again.
No one can.
Who can?
No one can. It really works so well. It makes so much more sense when you hear it.
I haven't heard that.
You haven't?
No. I haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it. I think I did a pretty good job of capturing the essence of it. Making it as musical as possible. Here we go. I called it Tool Yard Zone.
Tool Yard Zone. I like that.
And there's a picture for it. It's it has 2 upvotes. You know it's you see. You know it's coming. You just try to figure out when it's coming.
Oh my god!
It gets better. See, you predicted it. Oh wait, that's not what I thought it was. What's this?
I love it.
I knew you would. Did you catch that? Did you catch that little? Yeah.
Oh my god!
And look at the image for it. Can you see that? I took the 3D Sonic thing and I just slapped Tim Allen's face on it.
Oh my god! Dear God.
Here's where it gets very rhythmic. And then I think start recording because of that video. Anyway, well that sucks. Start over. I was showing Devin my Sonic Tool Yard Zone video. It's on YouTube.
I'm just wondering what I sound like.
But you'll have to find out later. We're not. I'm not stopping it so you can listen to yourself. You have to listen later.
We'll have to listen to the full episodes whenever they're done.
Yep. I'll send it to you.
You have to edit it out. Whatever you don't like out.
Yeah. I'm debating, like, I'll probably do that as I stream tonight. That's probably what I'll do. I'll start editing it up. And I'll try not to get too distracted by the chat, which I don't think will be too much of a problem. I'll get too distracted. Because I want to try to get this out. Like, that's the problem with me is the creative aspect is great, but the nitty-gritty stuff, it gets boring and bogs you down.
Right.
But what drives me forward, back when I used to make a lot of videos, it was that creativity that kept me going.
Right.
Like, there was a huge learning curve about how to use the software, and I was very limited because I didn't have enough knowledge, and I didn't know how much I wanted to learn. But when I had it, but the creativity of it, the expressiveness of it kept me going. I was like, this is my vision. I don't care if anyone else likes it.
Right.
That was enough for me. Let's talk about that. All right, let's talk about that. That's very important. So, as a creative person yourself, how do you weigh self-satisfaction with your work with other people's opinions about your work? How do you navigate that minefield?
Let's see. When I work on anything, the only thing I think about first is whether it pleases me or not, or whether I'm satisfied with it.
Right.
Then when I feel like it's met my standards as close as I can get it, then I share it with other people.
Right.
Now, when it comes to others being critical of what I do, it depends on what they're being critical of.
Right.
And why they're being critical of it.
Right.
Depending on what it is, I'll either accept their criticism or reject it.
Right. Based on your own personal values.
Based on my own values and my own thoughts.
Yeah.
And I want to be as honest as I can in my work. And that won't be easy because there is an inner fear of offending other people in your honesty.
I can help you with that.
Yeah. So that's a challenge you have to face up to.
Yeah.
But
once again, you don't care.
That's why you got to care more for yourself.
Yes.
Than others.
You can't let, if you what do you do? Let's say you have two people consuming your work. Mm-hmm. They give you exact opposite pieces of criticism. Who do you listen to?
Right.
And let's say you have two people who are saying the exact same piece of criticism. Mm-hmm. And you do what they say, and it makes you miserable. What's the point of fucking doing it?
Yeah, exactly. You always write for yourself first.
Yep.
Always.
Any artistic expression is about you.
Yeah. Yep.
Period.
Yep. I agree 100%. I do not agree with the opposite argument, where you have to always have your audience in mind.
Yeah, that
no.
Like, first of all, your audience is not a nebulous blob. They're consisted of individuals with incredibly diverse tastes and opinions and beliefs, so it's actually impossible to do so.
Right. That is true.
That's my philosophy, especially on the stream. But it's been my philosophy for a long time. If I don't enjoy it, I'm not gonna like. It's just, what's the point?
Right.
And then, well, I won't get into that, but yeah, that's my guiding artistic principle. And if anyone wants to come along for the ride, you're welcome.
Yeah.
That's the best way to be. Oh my God. Your Magic the Gathering notes.
I'm taking notes on the different...
All right, next podcast. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go on.
Cody is not a fan of trading card games.
I'm not a fan of games at all.
He used to be, but not anymore.
Yeah.
I think his inner criticism put trading cards to death.
How so? What do you think? What do you think I was critical about card games for? I don't think you're going to be correct about this, but what's your...
let's see.
Or unless you mean
you were critical of all the changing rules in the games themselves.
That's true. Yes, that's true.
And that aggravated you.
That's true.
You're like, fuck it, I ain't going to deal with this no more.
That's true. Yeah.
These games used to be simple. Now they're not simple anymore. Fuck it, I'm going to throw it away.
Even when they were simple, I lost. Now you expect me to play a complicated game? I'm out. Yeah. We're talking about YuGiOh specifically.
Yeah.
My favorite strategy was Exodia, because I love the idea of being pacifistic and still automatically winning.
Right.
Just from a philosophical standpoint, that was appealing to me.
Right.
And also the fact that, hey, it's simple. All I have to do is get 5 cards and you lose. Mm-hmm. It's the simplest way to declare victory. I'm all about being simple.
Simplicity.
I'm all about being simple and declaring victory. So it was the perfect strategy for me.
Well, you can have victory in these games, but these games are not simple.
Yeah, you got to learn something. I'm not a fan of one.
You have to have a pretty good memory.
I'm out. But I think the problem with me for the game was it goes back to like poker. It's the same, to me, the reason I quit was more akin to the poker thing. I was just getting mad at myself because I wasn't, on the one hand, I wasn't mentally strong enough to consider all the factors.
Yeah.
So I was very angry at myself that there were so many things that I didn't think about.
Right.
But I didn't care. So it was like a conflict.
Yeah.
I decided, okay, I'm being a sore loser here. I can either get good or rage quit. And I rage quit.
Right.
That's what happened. I almost always rage quit.
That's funny.
That's my opinion of what happened. The rules, yeah, that did have a lot to do with it because I'd have to learn new things.
Mm.
And I just didn't feel like investing it. To me, YuGiOh was something that I learned when I was a kid.
Right.
I didn't want to relearn it. I already know it.
Right.
So now it's just a matter of going through the motions.
Right.
I think that says a lot about me. I'm not sure it's very positive. But I just like going through the motions. I like the predictability and the patterns and the routine. I'm a very routine-driven person.
Right.
So to me, I love having routines. And to me, YuGiOh was routine.
Right.
You do this, respond to this, boom, 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 predictability.
Right.
When they introduced synchro monsters, I said, I'm out.
A lot of people quit when synchro monsters
Good.
came
I hope
out.
they go broke.
A whole lot of people.
Fuck Konami. That's a Jim Sterling reference.
Oh, goodness.
And I could never get into Magic because to me, I was like, nah, Yu-Gi-Oh's first. I don't have enough room in my life for 2 card games. 2 fictional card games.
Right.
That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say about me. And like, it's hard to find things that resonate with me. I'm so picky.
Right.
And I'm not apologizing for that, but it's just something I've got to deal with in my life. I've got to figure out how to navigate my own natural inclination, my own natural, not inclinations, my own natural, I guess inclinations or desires or...
Yeah, your nature.
Yeah, my nature. Yeah.
Yep.
My natural resonance. Stuff that resonates with me.
Right.
I think that's what everybody's looking for. Everyone's trying to do that.
Right.
You're looking for something that sticks to you.
Right.
Now, is it easier for other people than it is for me? Maybe, but at the same time, I know there's so many different instances where everyone goes through the same shit, but nobody knows it.
Right.
You go in the grocery store, someone's having the exact same thoughts as you, the exact same problems. It just doesn't come up.
Right.
So, I would love to know how common that actually is.
Oh, very common, I'm sure.
But once again, it's like the quantum thing. If you try to bring it up, they might not be comfortable talking about it. Like if you just go to a stranger and you're like, hey, do you have this problem? I'm going to tell you about this problem that I have.
Yeah.
What are the chances that, number one, they do have the problem? Number two, if they have the problem, they're going to open up to you and relate to you. Mm-hmm. It happens sometimes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But what are the odds of that really happening? I just came for fucking milk, dude. I got a wife at home.
Right.
I'm horny and she's cooked food. Like, we can do this never. I'll check my social media. Let's check Facebook. How often would you say, I'm going to assume that the audio is still fine here. How often would you say you check social media? If you're only on Facebook, right? You have a blog, but...
I check my Facebook pretty often.
Right.
I scroll through it, though.
Yeah. You don't engage.
Not in depth. I don't engage nearly as much as I scroll.
Yeah. I think that's pretty common for most people.
Yeah.
Well, some people might just want to pick fights.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Raise some hell.
Yeah. All right, I got a topic here. Give me a second. I'm gonna open a whole can of worms here. So I got a topic I'll bring up. So, if you were to introduce your religious beliefs to the public, how would you self-describe your religious beliefs?
How would I describe my religious position?
If someone were to ask you, what are your religious beliefs? What would you respond with?
Let's see. They say. Let's see. That's a good question. Who? Oh, very good question. That's a question that's hard to be honest about because there's a lot of pain that goes into religion for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of, it's going to take a lot of honesty, but a lot of painful honesty to open up about that. That's a very difficult subject. But it is the subject I need to be honest about. The most.
Yeah. It's the most, I would argue, it's probably the most intrinsic subject within your personality.
Yeah.
More so than even the written word in general.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would say those are probably the two biggest ones. Obviously, there's religion, there's the written word, there's video games, but that's kind of minor compared to the other ones.
Right.
Imagination is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, continue.
So, I can start this way. I say, from the time I was 16 to 23, I tried to be a Christian. I tried to follow the Christian religion. So, for me, that means believing in the Holy Bible, the Old and the New Testaments. Believing in them and following what they command, and basically being a Bible believing Christian. For me, Protestant, Baptist, and Presbyterian. But even though I tried, I wasn't able to really understand the Christian message of salvation. And so over time, about the age of 25, I just gave up on Christianity as far as biblical, orthodox, conservative Christianity goes. So I don't believe I'm a Christian, a real orthodox Christian.
What do you think how would you describe, what led you to give up, do you think, in your own words? Describe that process.
The frustration and anxiety and depression that went along with the conflict between faith and works. The idea that you can believe in the merits of Christ alone for your salvation, but at the same time holding yourself morally accountable to God according to your actions. So for me, the assurance of salvation is split between what a person does and based upon resting in what God has done for them. I take that to be a conflict rather than a kind of harmony. I think Christians think that is a harmony, but for me, it's a conflict. It's an issue. It's a problem. It's something that's not. For me, it's not something I can grasp or understand.
So would you say that you struggle to understand the role of works?
Yes, I think that's one way to put it.
Okay.
I don't see how somebody can have faith in God and love towards God, while at the same time holding themselves accountable to God. It seems like you will be split in your decisions all the time. Split in how you view yourself and how you view God. Sort of as a contradictory religion, I guess you could say.
So,
if that makes any sense, it's
so
complicated.
so could you say that The problem, maybe I'm not going to try to put words in your mouth, but I'm going to try to summarize the best I can my understanding of what you just said. Would you say that the problem is that with works, you're always going to come up short? And so you're living in a constant state of misery. And to you, the idea of God being benevolent and loving and the idea of being miserable was incompatible? Was that the source of the realization of the dichotomy between the two? Or what was it about the two that seemed irreconcilable to you? Because I know I've talked to you a lot personally, and I have a hard time understanding it when you talk. Maybe the fact that when you think about it, you're talking about just me, but other people, it can help you. Maybe and it'll help us both with understanding.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the problem, one problem that I have with understanding, I have a hard time understanding. And you've said this a billion times. I still don't understand it. You always tell me your problem is what is your assurance based on? Based on.
Yeah.
So the answer that I gave you a while back was, my response to the role of works was, well, they're just good by themselves. They give goodness on the earth, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't view them as assurance.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of would, well, I can understand the idea that, I do believe people can have life transformations, but it's not perfect and it's not complete and it's not comprehensive.
Yeah.
So because of that, it's almost not an assurance at all, I guess.
It's not a strong foundation to base your assurance on because it's not perfect, for one thing.
Right.
It fluctuates a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables.
There's a lot of variables and fluctuations in how you act and think and live.
That's fair.
That's where the frustration comes in. A lot of times in the New Testament, people are exhorted to examine themselves based on how they live their life in order to know that they belong to Christ. One verse in 1 John says that we do know that we know Him if we love God and keep His commandments.
Mm-hmm.
That to me implies a lot of things, which by default says to me that at least part of the Christian's assurance is based on their works. But that's a problem because, like I say, nobody is perfect. And our obedience to God and our love for God and other people fluctuates and isn't perfect. And it seems like a broken standard by which to measure your assurance.
Can I interject really quickly?
Yeah.
I have something I just thought of. Well, let's say that it's a beautiful day outside. We're having a nice picnic with the family. And we say to ourselves, this is evidence of God's love and peace for us. We're having a nice meal together. Everything's calm. God has given us this day, and He's given us this peace and harmony.
Yeah.
Well, the day, the calm weather, the peace, and the harmony aren't constant either.
Right.
So how can we say that God gave it to us? Maybe I'm missing the point.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that you could, in very specific instances, feel as though your works are good, that they're given to you in very specific instances, and be like, yes, just like God gives me the day, the beautiful day, He gives me the ability to do good for others in this moment.
Yeah.
Now, but if you were to say, this beautiful day and this peace with the family is what is sending me to heaven, well, that would be a problem.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that the problem with it is the idea that it sends you to heaven. It's like, what okay. So we can say that there are good works, and let's say they come from God and they're, it's God working through us, they're good works. Well, it's like, what's the purpose of it? Well, that to me is like saying, well, what's the purpose of having a family get together at this picnic with a beautiful day? It exists in its own world. It's good for its own sake. That's what I would respond with.
Yeah.
So what would you respond with that?
There is a difference between the idea that salvation is merited by works versus salvation is proved by works.
So repeat that again. I want to catch
There's a difference between salvation being merited by good works versus being assured by good works.
Merit and assurance. Okay.
Merit and proof, I should say, are similar, but they're very different.
I need a notepad. I need a notepad.
I got pen and paper right here, but
Can I rip out a sheet?
Yeah.
I don't want to take over your notebook.
No.
I want to take notes. Because I've been trying to do this with, like, just as I read your Facebook posts, I try to figure out what you're saying, and I need, like, notes.
Right.
Let me grab just something.
You can use that. That's fine.
All right, so. Okay, so let me organize this. I'm going to call this Devin's Christian vocabulary. So I can understand what the hell you're saying, because I always have a struggle. So all right. So there's merit, which I understand, but I want to understand it in your language, your context. And there's assurance. Okay. So I'm just gonna quote. I'm gonna have to absorb this later. So there's a difference between believing that. I'll repeat it again. You've said it 3 times, but
there's a difference between salvation being merited by good works versus salvation being proved by works. There's a difference between merit and proof. Merit and proof are not the same thing.
difference between merit and proof. Oops, spelled prof. So,
when we say salvation is not merited by works, salvation isn't gained by works. So, nobody can do anything to earn God's salvation.
Okay.
Salvation is not earned. It's not something you're given because you did something. Like, say,
it's not a wage.
It's not a wage system.
Yeah.
God's not saying, well, if you pay $30 to your tithe on Sunday, then I will save you from my judgment. That's a merit system.
It's not an if-then.
Yeah. If you do this, then I will give you salvation.
Yeah.
But there is a condition to it, however, is the thing about it. Jesus says, repent from your sins and believe in the gospel. So there's a conditional love there, because something must happen in order for you to go to heaven and to be accepted by God. Biblically, I don't think God's love is unconditional. I think it's actually conditional, because something has to happen. A condition has to be met in order for you to receive God's love.
But once again, I think this can be solved simply now. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but couldn't you just argue that the condition is inevitable? And wouldn't that solve it?
The condition is inevitable.
Yes. It's an inevitable condition for the Christian that will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't you argue that's what I've been trying to say for a long time. It's not, I would say that it's not perfect, because there's always self-doubt, but it's still inevitable, I would argue. It's, much like till death do us part. I'm going to use an analogy, a very poor analogy. But you marry someone, till death do us part, you know you're never going to leave each other. But there's a lot of unexpected things that come along the way that you didn't foresee that are negative,
mm-hmm.
but you're never going to leave each other.
Right.
The marriage is still inevitable despite the imperfections of that inevitability.
Right.
So I would say, can it just be viewed as an inevitability?
Mm.
That's what I've been trying to say for.
My idea in college was, I can always believe that God loves me because of His promises towards me rather than trying to prove it by how I live my life.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that every time I heard preaching and every time I read the Bible, I always got another sense.
Mm.
I always came back under the burden of proof and evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's essentially my problem. I can't believe that God's promises to me are enough when I know that when I keep coming back to proof, I fall under a trap of having to prove myself all the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's essentially the problem. I can't get out of that burden of proof.
You can't let it go.
Yeah, I can't let go of the need to prove myself.
I can.
If that makes sense.
I can definitely understand that
Yeah,
about
yeah,
you, because we talked about this before. You know, you don't like to step on people's toes. You like to be. You've always told me you want to feel like you're there for other people, and you take that very seriously.
Yeah.
I would say it could eat you alive. It's one of those character traits about you that could eat you alive if you let it. That's how powerful it is to you.
Yeah.
And knowing your family, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So I can see that.
It's definitely in my nature. It's not just something that I learned in religion. Religion exacerbated it because it was already there to begin with. It was there before I became religiously involved.
Yeah, I could see that.
But religion made it worse.
So would you say that the way that you used to view salvation, a big part of it was, I will go to heaven if I'm caring enough?
Yeah, I can be confident that I'm going to heaven based on how confident I am in my good works and in my piety and morality and love. If I'm loving enough as a person, then that's my assurance that I'm going to heaven.
Yes, we've gotten to the root of it.
Yep.
Because I used to think that exact same thing.
Yep.
I used to think that exact same thing.
That's what I mean by burden of proof. That's what I mean by assurance through works.
I went through the exact same thing. I want to get to that once. I want to make note of this. If I'm loving enough as a person, I can be assured of my salvation. Yes. All right.
Yes.
I went through that exact same thing, and I want to interject here for a second.
I'll let you write it
because that is exactly the thought that I had. For I can't tell you how long. That was my interpretation of Christianity when I was in the first initial core of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. I was going to prove it by being a loving enough person.
Yeah.
And what would happen for me is you make somebody mad.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think, uh-oh. Not only have I made a loved one mad, which is, whatever, you got to deal with that, but now my entire afterlife is in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Because I've made this person mad.
Yeah.
Kind of that deep.
Or it could be in jeopardy.
It's uncertain because.
Yes.
It's uncertain because I made someone mad.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, what made it so bad is that you couldn't decide either way who you was and where you were. You might go to heaven, you might not. You don't really know. I was trapped in a cycle of confusion. It's like an identity crisis. I didn't ultimately know who I was. I couldn't figure myself out because I distrusted my intentions a lot.
Would you say that was a product of the preaching? To examine yourself and you're a piece of shit and all that?
Yes.
Because I think I went through that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always blame the worst problems that I have with religion because I was a Free Will Baptist.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember. I've talked about this on stream. I didn't have many problems with the preaching, but the way to the church and the way home, the pastors on the radio fucked with my head more than anybody else, I would say.
Uh-huh.
My mom was not very strict. I mean, she really wasn't that strict.
Right.
She really wasn't. To me, it was reading. I mean, it was listening to the radio and the things that they said that planted in me my religious beliefs. my
Right.
core, deep religious beliefs.
Right.
And I think part of it was, well, they're authorities.
Yeah.
You know, they're obviously, people are obviously listening to them.
Mm-hmm.
I should too.
Right.
Not to mention, well, that was just on the car ride. That's all you have to listen to and all that. You don't have a choice but to absorb it, especially me, because I have a hard time excluding things like that bird. I can't shut things out of my brain very easily. It takes a lot of mental effort for me to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And I've only recently learned that. As a kid, I absorb everything. I can't help it.
Yeah.
So I personally blame the radio pastors for a lot of my pain.
Right.
But then I do wonder how much of blame I have for my own beliefs. What beliefs originated within me that were not a product of other people?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a little bit terrifying, because then you say to yourself, what hope is there for me
Uh-huh.
to be a good person or whatever, to be saved?
Yeah.
Because what redeeming qualities do I have?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Especially when you consider, you know, it's so easy to think about things you've actually done in the past or thought in the past. You can focus on them so much and so easily get overwhelmed with your own evil or imperfections.
Yeah.
It's like, my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Luckily, I have not done that for a long time. I feel like I've kind of evened the boat a little bit.
A lot of the preaching that I heard in the Baptist church especially had to do with how you lived your life. If you are a real Christian, you will act like a real Christian. And that message was preached many, many, many times, if not all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So when I heard preaching, that was the big message that was put in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what happened with me was I internalized that message. I applied the message to myself all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But when I did that, I became very, very, very self-conscious as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Dangerously self-conscious.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad it got. And it got worse and worse and worse. It started off as anxiety and depression, then it just turned to downright anger towards God and Christianity and religion in general.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I reached that point of exhaustion. And I said, I'm just not going to try to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Thankfully, you
I
reached a
haven't
natural
been,
limit.
I haven't been to church in, let's see, I haven't been to church in 7 years, 7.5 years.
How could you call yourself a Christian, Devin?
So, I want to believe in a God of unconditional love, meaning that God loves me regardless of how good I am. But I can't see that kind of a God in the Bible. I can't see that God in the preaching of Christianity. So that's why I don't consider myself a Christian. I wish I could believe in God. I wish I had a God I could believe in. But I don't. So I guess by that definition, that makes me an atheist.
Damn.
It's not that I disagree with God's existence. I don't think the idea of there being a God is a bad idea. It's just the kind of God that we have is the problem. So, I think once I realized that the Bible contradicted my beliefs, or at least it seems to, that's when I really split in my mind. Because what I told myself was, I can't believe in a Jesus that the Bible doesn't back up. That's like trying to tell people that Martin Luther King Jr. was a white person.
Yeah.
You know, once you have the facts, you have the facts. You have to face the facts and then decide who you are. Otherwise, you're living in a kind of denial and wishful thinking, you know.
Yeah.
You got to face the truth and then make up your mind. That's one way. That's one reason ignorance is a bad thing, because some people are just ignorant of the Bible and what it says. And yet they have these very passionate beliefs about God.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, damn. You want to take the passion over the knowledge, because the knowledge isn't really that helpful either. But it's a trap for me. It's a rough situation I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Because accepting the knowledge of the Bible has broken my heart. It's broken me spiritually. Because now I don't have a God I feel like I can go to.
Hmm.
But on the other hand, if I try to believe in the God that I did in college, I wouldn't be able to. Because the logical side of me would constantly condemn me and criticize me, because I know I'm saying yes to these Bible verses, but I'm saying no to these Bible verses.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
What would you say the you in college was that you just mentioned?
Well, like I say, I believed God loved us unconditionally. I believed that one could believe in the merits of Christ alone for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and not have to worry about how loving you was as a person,
Mm-hmm.
or how good you was, or strive to be a better person all the time,
Mm-hmm.
lest you not be a Christian after all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what gave me such a relief.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came back home from college, it was almost like I had a kind of psychological break or something. Um, I really don't fully understand what happened, but it's almost like I woke up from a good dream. It was like when I came back, I was reminded of everything that I left behind.
Right.
And
Yes.
when that happened, I immediately lost all that freedom and confidence I had.
Right. That I see that. Yes.
Which I did not think would happen.
It's like being it's like being a child in an abusive home.
Yeah.
You associate all the negative things with that home.
Yeah.
You leave and you're fine and you're dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
The second you step back in that house, all that negativity comes rushing back. It doesn't matter how much you thought you beat it.
Yeah.
Being in that moment, it's back and it's heavy.
Yeah, I did not think that would happen too. That's what was so heartbreaking about it, because I thought when I came back home, I would be able to
be a light in the darkness.
I would defeat the environment, not the other way around.
Yeah.
It was a environmental shock, I think, though I didn't realize it at the time. So I've tried to go on Facebook and voice my opinions, but
I can see why you like taking trips so much. I'm just going to throw that out there. It makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, environment really plays a role in my happiness.
Well, what were you saying about posting on Facebook?
Well, as far as my religious beliefs, I try to voice them here and there, but I'm writing a book about it. I haven't finished it though, but it explains my religious history and my beliefs and why I believe what I do, because it's a very deep subject.
Mm-hmm.
But everything I just told you is a very brief summary of where I'm at.
I feel like I've gotten more out of you now, because I feel like there was always something about it. Because I had no idea about the struggle when you got back. I can understand a lot of the struggles when you get back, but I had no idea that the religious struggles would remain.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah. No, I didn't tell you all of it.
Yeah, you didn't.
I didn't.
Why didn't you?
No.
Were you afraid of what I was going to say or judge you or something like that? Were you?
It's just hard to tell anybody, honestly.
Yeah.
It's such a painful thing for me. It's been a very painful thing for me that it's hard to talk to anybody about it, honestly. It has traumatized me. It has deeply disturbed me. And it's weakened me, and it's hurt me on a very deep level.
You're talking specifically about the return home.
All of it.
The whole experience.
All of it, from the time I started going to church and until now, which is, I guess, 14 years.
Yeah.
It's been a very, very painful struggle for me. And just because of that alone, it's very difficult to talk about.
Yeah.
Even to friends or my brother,
Yeah.
even when I'm talking to friends or my brother, I can barely get a few thoughts out before I close because it's so hard to deal with. There's a lot of pain, anger and bitterness and sorrow and depression that's happened with it for me. So my hope is that when I write and get my thoughts out there to the public, that's a way for me to try to heal from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm focusing on now, is trying to be honest and heal from it, which is going to take a long time. I mean, I'm wounded for life. I know I am.
Yeah.
But, that doesn't mean I can't be happy.
Right.
It doesn't mean my life is over.
Yeah.
It's just been a disaster for me. Christianity has been a total disaster for me on every level. So, that's the truth. And it's the truth I haven't really vocalized much, but it's the truth. So, I have a recording of it now, which is good, because I need to get it out there. I've been planning on doing more Facebook posts explaining what I think, and it's just hard because I have a short space in which to put out a lot of pain and honesty. That's not easy. So I have to select my thoughts with care.
Yeah, I've noticed that because there were so many dots that I couldn't connect.
Yeah.
I know. I was like,
there's a lot.
There's something I'm missing here, and I can't get it out of him.
There's a lot. There's a lot of it. That's why I'm writing a book about it, because it's that big of a thing for me. So, hopefully one day the book will be finished, and if people do read it, they'll know everything.
I can't wait. I've been telling you that ever since you mentioned it.
There's just a few more things I got to do, and then it'll be done. But I've needed to tell somebody about it in person. But I mean, I tell Elliot bits and pieces of it, my brother Elliot, but I don't get into an in-depth discussion with him about it.
So, I'm a little offended.
Really?
Why didn't you tell me? Were you afraid I was going to judge you, or I was going to?
I just wasn't ready to.
Okay.
Like I say, it was a painful subject.
It was developing.
Yeah, I just emotionally, I was so hurt by it. I couldn't hardly talk to anybody about it at all.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't I didn't trust anybody. It's just I didn't have the spiritual strength to talk about it.
You weren't afraid of me like judging you and
no, I wasn't afraid I wasn't afraid of you judging me.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Right.
I hadn't reached the point where I'd unload everything yet. It's like trying to tell somebody you saw somebody die. It's like coming back from war.
Yeah.
And you finally tell your best friend what happened in the war.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
First, you have to come over the initial shock.
Yeah.
You have to reorient yourself into the world.
Yeah.
The new world that you're in.
Yeah.
You can't let go of the old world, so you're trying to reconcile. It has scarred you for life. How do I navigate in this new world?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not willing to tell you everything because I'm trying to orient myself in this new world.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And then once you orient yourself, then you don't want to remember the old world.
Right.
You want to move on, but you can't. And then you got to figure out a way to bring the old world out.
Yeah.
And then live the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I can see why it's taken you so long.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's been a very painful thing, for sure. But I'm working on it. I am. I believe I'm a happier person now than I used to be. I suffer still on some level, but I feel like I'm happier now. I'm more clear-headed. I'm more honest about what's going on with me, and I feel like I'm going in the right direction. So,
yeah, with all due respect,
direction at least.
How could you not be happier than you used to be? That's the way I look at it. For me,
yeah.
How could you not be happier than the shit that you had in your head in the past?
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
Anything's better than that.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I think. I've often thought to myself, it's very easy to focus. If you've had negative experiences early on in life, it's so easy to focus on them. Why me? Why me? Why me?
Yeah.
But the way that I've looked at it is, At least I got it out of the way early. Imagine being 80 years old. Like, imagine, I feel like this would be worse. Imagine living your whole life as an atheist. Pure, hardcore, devout atheist. You turn 80 years old. For the first time in your life, you start to think about God.
Right.
You have to deal with 80 years worth of the antithesis. And let's say you're dying. You have to deal with that in such a short period of time. It's almost like that would be worse.
Right.
Because it's so much heavier, deeper. You're actually dying.
Yeah.
And being introduced to that idea as a youngster, yeah, it does fuck you up. It does. But to me, I guess maybe I'm trying to look at the positives of it because I get tired of being so fucking negative all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just my way of saying it. At least I dealt with it early. I'm being optimistic about it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I'm torn. It was a bad thing. But maybe I'm looking for a silver lining. Maybe.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah. In many ways, I've had a good life too. My life is not so terrible because of it, but it's left its own mark on me pretty strong though. Everybody's got some skeleton somewhere that hurts them. I don't think anybody on this earth lives without some degree of pain on something. So for me, it was religion. It could have been drugs, it could have been alcohol, it could have been bad relationships, it could have been something else. But for me, it was religion. So, not a very common life story.
Probably more common.
Usually it's alcohol, drugs, or bad relationships.
I bet it's probably more common than you think, but people don't want to talk about it because they're afraid of dealing with the conservative Christians. Yeah.
Oh, I'm 100% certain that other people are going through it. And I said once that the Bible Belt has cursed so many people, and somebody commented on my post and said that it was inoculation. Inoculation means an exaggeration. And I'm like, no, it's not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's debatable. I mean, it's a debatable thing. It's a debatable claim to make, but
it amazes me. I've noticed this a lot with in my opinion, I think the political left does it a lot, but the conservative Christians, in my opinion, do it way more than the political left, and that is lie to yourself. I refuse to believe that they actually believe what they say about how they feel about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like you talked earlier about disingenuous feelings.
It's worse. It's deeper. Yeah. It's a deeper disingenuousness.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, the leftists, they're dealing with social approval from humans. The conservatives are dealing with the almighty. Yeah. There's far more presentation involved.
Yeah. If you believe it, there's a lot more at stake.
Yes. If you believe you're going to suffer forever and all that, there's way more show involved.
Yeah. It's true. And the real shame for me is that a lot of conservative Christians in particular don't seem to really get that or get the significance of that or even care about it.
Yes.
And that's heartbreaking to say the least.
It's like they're trapped in their own delusions.
Yeah.
That's the way I would describe it.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder. I mean, I guess the only thing I could do would be to analyze myself and my previous history and try to understand when I was doing that, what were the internal things in with me, and then try to maybe apply that to other people. But I do wonder, people who are going through that, that present themselves like that, what's going on internally? Like, I'll give you a really stark example. What about, the pedophiles? Either the political, staunch, outward presenting Christian politicians who are pedophiles, or even the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
What's going on in their heads?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to know.
That's a good question.
Like, if you could really get into their heads, what are they thinking? Yeah. There is no possible way they can actually believe that they're holy.
Right.
I don't believe that.
Right.
It would be such a strong delusion. It's inconceivable the type of delusion that would be.
Yeah.
So maybe they know what they're doing and they're just lying.
Yeah.
But it would be worse in my opinion, it would be worse if they believe themselves to be justified.
Yeah.
That would be worse.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I always wish I could get into some people's heads. I think that's a pretty common thing. What were they thinking? Just.
Yeah.
But I really wish I could. Some of these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, you got the magic cards out.
Yeah. I ain't gonna take notes no more. Fuck that. I'm just gonna take what I got.
San Francisco dogs begin bagging people poop. That's funny. About people in San Francisco shitting in the streets and all that. Have you heard about that? No. All right. We'll just.
Sounds funny, man.
So, how would you say you? Let's see. Not anything specific, but in general, how would you say you interact with current events? I'm just trying to give the people a sense of you as just different areas of your personality. Like, for instance, I'll give you like me. I don't watch movies. I don't watch television. So something that's very common for a lot of people. I don't. That's something about me. This is how I relate to things that people relate to. So just in general, when it comes to current events, news, how does Devin Stevens react to current events in general, or would you say?
My news of current events either comes from the news itself,
television news,
or Facebook.
Right.
Those are the two avenues. Anything else, I have no knowledge of. But even then, I don't watch television news a lot because I work during the main anchor times.
Yeah, you work second shift.
Yeah, second shift. So Facebook gives me more news than anything.
God help you.
So, and I usually don't even look into it. So,
Facebook's
my news is headlines. That's it. Headlines.
Oh okay. No, headline reader.
That's how I learn headlines.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
And headlines are half the time they're deceptive.
Yes.
They are very deceptive.
Yes.
So that's how well I keep up with current affairs.
It's for the best.
Play video games, read books. Reading is my main way of trying to learn. Not my only way. I've been listening to YouTube videos too.
Yeah.
YouTube videos and books.
Yeah. What type of YouTube videos you been watching? What subjects? Who? What people?
I've been listening to Yale University lectures on political theory, political philosophy. So I learned a little bit about Plato, Aristotle, Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, Machiavelli, Rousseau, and Tocqueville, Alexis de Tocqueville. A very, very, very brief introduction into political theory.
Right.
I want to understand political theory better so I can make up my own mind about politics.
Yes.
So that I can actually
humanely
get involved with politics. But I can't do that unless I'm informed, and the only way for me to be informed is to read and learn about it.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'm never going to vote. I'm never going to get involved with it because I'm just going to make fun of it. I make fun of what I don't know sometimes, especially politics.
There's an episode of I don't think you ever watched Squidbillies, but there's an
No.
episode where you know the general premise: redneck squids, basically. Instead of hillbillies, they're squidbillies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I forget the exact context. I don't feel like looking it up. But at one point, the dad is proud of the son, and he's like, I'm paraphrasing, but he goes, "You're just like me, son. You hate what you fear, and you fear what you don't understand."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. A lot more reading to be done, note taking. It's an interesting subject.
What, literature?
Political philosophy.
Oh.
It's an interesting subject. Very complex, that's for sure. Laws, rights, government, power, rulers, kings, democracies, republics, anarchies, oligarchies, tyrannies,
Mm-hmm.
states, nations,
Wars.
statesmen, wars. It's a very, very big subject.
Mm-hmm.
And I dare not. I feel ashamed of myself, but I was an idiot. But I voted for John McCain when I went to church at Baptist Church. And
Following that conservative
only,
Christian way.
That was only because other Christians were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't because I knew anything about John McCain or his policies or understood anything about him.
Mm-hmm.
I voted for Ron Paul in 2012 because everybody else was telling me what a good guy he was. And I thought, well, okay. But I didn't really understand economics and all his ideas, so I just voted. And I just don't think that's a good way to vote for anybody.
I agree, but you made the right decision in 2012.
I made the right decision. In the view of you, I did.
Yes.
But I would rather make an informed decision rather than
I agree.
just a decision.
Yeah. Agree.
So after that, I decided, okay, I didn't vote for Clinton or Trump last year, and I didn't care. I actually thought it was funny when Trump got elected because I knew a lot of people would be pissed off about it. I was soaking in the drama.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
It was one of those moments when drama is funny. You just have it's
absurd.
Funny.
It's absurd.
Yeah, it's absurdly.
Yes. It's
absurd and it's hilarious.
It's funny. I remember my dad, because my dad died in 2015, and he was. I didn't keep up. I didn't keep up with news, politics, none of it. And he was talking to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't like Trump, but I might have to vote for the bastard." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like I didn't know anything about his campaign or anything like that. You know, very little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just kind of funny to me thinking about that. And then 2016 rolls around, and my God, just being a hardcore internet hermit, witnessing that online,
right.
It was like just pure entertainment, a gold mine of entertainment every day.
Right.
It was so enjoyable.
Yeah. It is.
It was hysteria. It was like it was literally hysteria.
It is hysteria.
On both ends of the spectrum, there was excitement and there was indignation. Both of them were hysterical, and I was finding it hysterically. I thought it was hysterically funny.
Yeah.
It was mass hysteria.
It was. It is hysteria.
It still is.
Oh,
it still is.
It's getting worse.
I feel like
just wait till next year.
In my opinion, just by general observation, I feel like the excited hysteria has died down, but the indignation continues.
Yeah, the indignation's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Next year is going to be so crazy. There's going to be so much hate.
Yeah.
But that's what happens in a free country.
I That's what happens when you have differing values and.
That's what freedom of speech looks like.
Yeah.
That was nice and therapeutic. Talking to you about religion. That helps me out.
I've always been able to tell you need it, but I think the fact that there's other, I think what helps you, in my opinion, is the fact that you're not just talking to me. You're talking to everybody. Yeah. So if I don't understand something, which it probably frustrates you when I don't understand what you're talking about, when I can't empathize with you, but when you know that there's other people listening, it's like, well, surely someone's going to get it. So you feel more comfortable, maybe subconsciously. That's my opinion. You feel more comfortable knowing, well, I've talked to Cody about this a million times, and I get the same responses. I need a fresh perspective or something, Fresh ears. I need fresh ears.
It's good to get more information out too.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of just talking to one person.
Yeah.
Would you say it's about the feedback too, though? The potential for other people's feedback as this is released. Maybe hearing other people's opinions about it.
It's just the act of releasing it that helps a lot.
Cathartic.
Yeah, it's cathartic.
Yeah. And the productivity aspect of the recording helps too. Like I noticed if you feel like you're being productive, you're going to do more.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I've noticed as a streamer. As long as I feel like I'm being productive, I'm okay. I can go for longer periods of time. Mm-hmm. As long as I feel like I'm being funny or I will be fun, as long as I feel like there's a cumulative effect of humor, that I'm willing to go longer.
Right.
Even if I'm not funny all the time, I still know I can be funny at any moment. Mm-hmm. And then once it exists, it feels like a product. Right. This exists. Right. This little moment here. And that makes me feel very good.
Right.
Whereas otherwise, what's my incentive to be funny if there's no product there? If you can't look at your work.
Right.
What's the point of plowing a field if you can't go out and look at it and admire it?
Yeah.
And just to bring back religion for me, because I just thought of it. I don't know if this is going to go anywhere. But to me, the big problem with me was pride in work. Taking pride in your work.
Right.
Because I took the language very literally. Pride.
Yeah.
Well, pride is a sin.
Yeah.
I can't take pride in my work.
Right.
So, and if you're wondering what that sound effect was, that was Devin flipping through his magic cards. He does that all the time. But.
Oh, yeah. I forgot the recording was still on.
That's the good part. That's what we need. That's what we need. That's when you've got good stuff. Good Lord.
Congestion. Looks good.
See, that's when I need to get you at your best, when you forget the recording's on. It's good shit. That's when you're living in the moment.
Yeah.
You don't think about it.
Right.
But that was a big struggle for me, the whole idea of pride, especially when you're smart. Everyone tells you you're smart. Everyone gives you all these expectations to live up to. And you feel like you're going to go do things, but then you're like, wait a minute. And the idea of pride, self-esteem was a very big problem for me, trying to navigate self-esteem. Because how can I accomplish things and be happy about it and not be proud about it?
Yeah.
Like it seems like it's an unnecessary dichotomy.
Right.
In my opinion. The whole idea of pride. I blame the Catholics. 7 deadly sins.
Wonder what it would have been like if we were raised in a Catholic environment. rather than a Protestant one.
Why would you want to wonder that?
Just for the sake of argument, I guess.
Yeah. I'm just randomly thinking of a Rocco's Modern Life episode where a heifer goes to a chicken place and he chokes and he dies and he goes down to heck. And the devil has an udder for a head and he just keeps saying, "Gluttony! Glutton! You are a glutton!" That's what I think I'm thinking about the Catholic Church. Glutton! You are a glutton!
Glutton! You are a glutton!
You need to see that. It's really funny.
I've seen that.
You remember that?
Yeah. I believe I have.
They redid Rocco's Modern Life and put it on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet.
Really?
Yep. I forget what year it came out. It was recent. Maybe this year, last year, something like that. I need to get you to listen to the Babylon Bee podcast. Well, how do you listen to a lot of podcasts or anything like that? I know you said you listen to YouTube lectures.
Yeah, no, not a lot.
Yeah. Every time I enjoy something, I always try to get you interested. It usually never works, but I do it anyway. That's what you do when you enjoy something. You always try to share it with the world, and the world's like, it's not my thing. And you're like, fuck you. So I might not do what you tell me to do here, but I'm gonna ask anyway. So when I upload this, I'm gonna upload it to YouTube.
Okay.
What image? 'Cause I think what I'm gonna do is just have a black screen. That way they have to focus on what we're listening to.
Yeah.
Just a pure black screen, audio only.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
It's an experiment right now.
Yeah. Yep.
If we ever got in the habit of doing it, then we can start adding images and stuff.
Yeah. Well, like in a perfect world, we'd have a studio, we'd have cameras set up, and I'd be able to edit, cut. Whoever's talking, I can cut to them, and then basically you have two cameras set up at once. They record everything, and then you just cut out all the parts that aren't relevant.
Right.
That's all you do. That's the nature of editing. Cut out all the parts that aren't relevant. It's a lot easier when it comes to video and audio. When it comes to words, I mean, I say it's easier with audio because I'm not a musician. If I was a musician, I'd be nitpicking every little sound and every little thing and every little specific this and that.
Right.
And if I actually made movies, I'd be nitpicking the lighting and all of that too.
Right.
But because I don't have any standards for myself, I'm like, fuck it. Couple of cuts here, a couple of cuts there, slap it together. And you should think of topics. I mean, think of topics that you want to talk about. Because we talk about the same stuff a lot. There's recurring themes.
That goes back to the picky. We're picky of our topics, and we're very hostile to change.
Stubborn.
Stubborn, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Very belligerent to change.
Death-defying to change.
Death-defying to change.
Death-defying? No, that's not right, is it?
No, I don't think so.
Death-defying.
A verse is a very tame way of putting it.
Hostile.
Hostile.
Fuck change.
That's the best way to put it. The thing about those words is they're just, a lot of people are like, oh wow, those aren't good words. There's so much power behind those words, really. And the taboo makes them more powerful.
Yes.
It makes them more emphatic.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
I'm not really I'm not really convinced of these hoity-toity, high and mighty linguists who are opposed to these particular words.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much insight George Carlin gave dropping F-bombs?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. He gave a lot.
We should talk about Carlin. What's your opinion? How do you feel about George Carlin?
George Carlin is he's a good speaker, for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's a real good public speaker.
Mm-hmm.
He never misses a beat.
Mm-hmm.
He never says, he's a good speaker. He's very controlled.
Mm-hmm. Calculated.
Very therapeutic and relaxing. Whenever you're in a bad mood or in an angry mood, he's a good channel for that anger. He's a good voice box for that anger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very funny, very hilarious. Much more funny than the comedy barns you'll find in Tennessee.
Did you go to one?
No, but I've heard.
That was random.
I've seen people allude to them. Good, clean comedy.
Oh, that's what you... Okay, I see
go
what
to
you're
the
up.
funny farms. Or funny.
It reminds me of the possum thing from Goofy movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it makes me think of.
Oh,
nice,
Lord.
nice, wholesome entertainment.
Nice,
and here we are, Max, ruining our father's good time.
Exactly.
So it was more about you than it was me, huh, Dad? You're trying to relive your childhood through me? Trying to recoup the childhood you missed out on?
I thought we was having fun. What's the matter?
It's not supposed to be fun. It's work. No one's going to know what that's from. I don't want to even tell them. You know what that's from. No one else is going to know what that's from.
It's not about fun. It's about work. I actually don't know where that's from.
That's from the Brave Little Toaster. That's Kirby. It's not supposed to be fun. When they're doing chores.
Oh, I don't remember that line.
Kirby goes, it's not supposed to be fun. It's work. Kirby says that.
Interesting.
I think he says it to Blanket because Blanket's like, chore. Or it might be Radio. One of them doesn't want to do chores. And it's not fun.
I need to get that movie one day. I do not own it.
We could do a whole episode on the Brave Little Toaster.
Especially you little rag.
You know what? I'm gonna make a list on my phone. I'm gonna do podcast ideas, topics like a pure. We're gonna do a full Brave Little Toaster episode,
That'll work.
or try to do one anyway. So you remember that? Remember when we were in college at Asheville?
Uh-huh.
And I took a picture of your condiments on the table in the cafeteria. Your mustard and ketchup and barbecue sauce.
Mustard. Oh, yes.
Your dish.
Yes, my dish.
Yeah, I thought it was beautiful and fascinating, and I snapped a picture of it for posterity's sake.
Right.
Well, I showed that on stream the other day.
Uh-huh.
I was just talking about it. And I noticed it looked like an eyeball and all this. Well, since we're called the CD podcast, now that I think about it, it looks like a CD as well. If you saw the picture again, you would see it. There's a giant yellow disc, and in the middle, there's a little slab of ketchup and a little bit of barbecue sauce. I'd have to show you the picture. I can't pull it up.
I remember a white plate.
Yeah.
With the ketchup in the middle.
Yep.
But there's rings of mustard on it.
No, the mustard is the mustard, it's mainly mustard. So the mustard is like, there's no ring. It's a giant plate of mustard. There's a dab of ketchup in the middle, but there's a glob of barbecue sauce, and then there's a ring of barbecue sauce.
Oh.
And the ring looks like an eyeball. The ring looks like the side of your eyeball.
Uh-huh.
The ketchup in the middle looks like your iris. And it's surrounded by this giant plate of yellow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll have to pull it up again to show you. But I think I'm gonna make that the logo because one, it looks like a CD, and two, we both love mustard.
Oh, I love it.
That's gonna be a topic, mustard episode. Actually, no, we can just talk about mustard whenever we're ready. All right, you ready to head out?
Yeah.
All right, I'll call it mustard episode later.
Short people got no reason.
I knew. So before I even said that, I knew you were going to bring up Randy Newman. I knew it. Before I even said it, I knew you were going to bring it up.
Yahoo, just drink it. You better not touch my Yahoo.
Did you know that YuGiOhs are mainly water? They're not. It's not milk. That's why it tastes like shit. It's water.
I like them pretty good. I
used
didn't
to
realize it was mostly water though.
Look at the ingredients list on the back. It's not milk. It's water.
Interesting.
That's why it says chocolate drink on the front. It doesn't say chocolate milk.
Right.
Chocolate drink. So it's water.
Chocolate drink.
Yes.
Yahoo, just drink it. You better not get my Yahoo.
So my question is, why did that come into your head? What started that?
As soon as I thought of Yahoo, I thought of Yahoo.
No, what? Oh, Mario's Yahoo.
Yahoo.
Oh my God. This is what the internet needs. We're playing Super Mario Bros. He instantly goes to, "Hey Arnold, stinky." No one else would have done that.
All it takes is the key word.
Yeah. He reminds me of the general from the commercials. That big white mustache.
Call the general, save some time.
Yep. Because he's everywhere. So I'm just gonna run some episode ideas. We don't have to do them now. I feel like this. But one thing I want to discuss is your eating habits, your idiosyncratic eating habits, if you're cool with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's one topic I had in mind. I think Sling Blade needs to have its own topic.
Okay.
That occupied so much of our lives, I think it's worthy of its own discussion.
Alright.
That's the only ones I can come to mind right now. We could do Toy Story. I don't know. I feel like we should combine Toy Story and Sling Blade, personally. I don't know why.
It's possible.
We need new ones, but those were so organic.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't force it.
No, you can't.
So we might be stuck with that for the next 50 years.
No.
I mean, imagine 70-year-old us doing Carl Childers voices. I mean, if John Boy and Billy can do it, then we can do it.
Oh yeah. I can't believe John Boy and Billy are still doing stuff.
Yeah. I haven't listened to them since I was in elementary school, I would say. On the way to school, Dad would have it on the radio. Funny, hardcore fans are going to know exactly what's happening in the game. You don't even have to describe it to them. They'll just recognize it from the sound effects. That's one thing that's crazy about the internet. It's just...
Everybody knows. True loyal fans know best.
Mm-hmm.
Some people take it far more serious than I do.
Mm-hmm. Same. It's cool that it shows you the different... It's really a nerd's paradise.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing jockey about it, really, I would say. Or very minimal jockey things if you're recording like an athletic activity, but... Well... I guess people can listen to stuff while they exercise too, so it's kind of jockey in that way. But
right,
it's really a nerd's playground, a semantic playground, a playground for the anally semantic as well.
Anally semantic.
Yeah. You know what I mean by that? Actually, the real guy was this guy, played by this guy, and those types.
Interesting.
I just coined the term anally semantic because they're anal about semantics.
Okay.
Fair?
Fair.
Okay. It
took me a little while to process.
Yeah, it's a playground for the anally semantic. Your mind went out. Your mind went and played. Yeah. We won't say how your mind went.
This water music is very sweet. It inspired one of my short stories. I wrote about this giant killer octopus and some mermaids.
I always wanted to be able to take Mario's hat off. Like when I got to play without his hat, I thought that was cool. But the friend I was with was like, "No, don't do that. He sucks when you do that."
Takes more damage.
Have you ever seen the Super Mario Brothers movie? That live action
A
one?
long time ago. One with Dennis Hopper in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long time
and
ago.
what was his name? YuGiOh? I don't know his name. The hot guy, quote unquote. The young guy.
The Luigi.
Yeah, the hunk, the stud, the heartthrob. That's what I'm looking
The
for.
heartthrob.
Yeah, the heartthrob. John LaGuziamo. I'm probably going to get crucified for that. I think it's
John Leguizamo.
I don't know. I think that's his last name. I'll get crucified for it.
Apparently a lot of people trigger you and want to crucify you.
No, it's just the internet. If you get anything wrong, they'll just jump all over you. If you pronounce something wrong, they'll just swarm.
So a lot of people on the internet are anally semantic.
Yes. I guess I am too. So what's a better game, Super Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie?
Banjo-Kazooie is the better game.
I don't know why you say that. I'm going to say
it's more creative.
That's what I was going to say. I bet that's your guess because there's more variety and creativity in the level design.
Definitely more.
Yeah.
Better graphics even. Better story. Good music. Better music. This game's very basic.
Yeah, how long did we listen to the Banjo-Kazooie soundtrack from the beach the whole way? 6 hours worth of Banjo-Kazooie soundtrack on the way home?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was crazy. We almost got through all of it, but
Yeah.
didn't quite make it.
And when we got to the beach, what was it you played? You purposefully selected the water level music from some game.
Yeah, Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, he selected video game music based on our surroundings and we blared it through his car speakers. Oh, man.
Should have done a speed run of that game.
What?
Super Mario
Odyssey.
I haven't gotten all the moons on it, but I've beaten the last boss.
That's interesting. They started out with stars. Then they had the sunshine. And then they had moons.
Mm-hmm. They went back to stars for Super Mario Galaxy, but then when they got to Odyssey, they went to moons. Power moons.
Is that the first time moons had showed up in the Mario series?
Yep. Yep.
What they got next?
Hopefully books. That'd be nice.
A book.
Power books.
A book-themed Mario game.
I will be all over
Isn't that's Paper Mario? Yep, I got you. That's Paper Mario. He's literally in books.
Well, he's not in a book.
The levels
he's
are
made of
books.
paper.
The levels are books. I'm pretty sure. I'm pulling it up. I swear.
They're paper characters. It's like a character.
I'm pulling it up. Actually, if I do that, the recording will stop. I don't care. I'll look it up later. I thought the levels were books, though.
I don't think the actual levels are.
But we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait later to see who's right. So, are there any Mario games you haven't played? I feel like you haven't played Super Mario 3.
The older games are much harder. I've played the original Super Mario Brothers, but I never beat it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty hard stuff.
Did you ever play the one where you get like the raccoon tail and fly?
Little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii and for the Switch, and I think you can be a raccoon in that one too.
Yeah.
It's just old school Mario
Yeah.
with a new twist, I guess.
So, what do you think about Crash Bandicoot? I thought about Crash for some reason.
Crash is a good game. I actually got the remastered Crash for the Switch. They did a good job, I thought.
You ever played Majora's Mask?
Yes, I haven't conquered it yet, but I've got it for the 3DS, Nintendo 3DS. Ocarina of Time is a good game too. Twilight Princess, Breath of the greatest video game ever, in my personal, humble opinion. The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. That's saying a lot because there's a lot of good games out there.
Better than Conker's Bad Fur Day?
Oh God, there's no comparison.
This makes me think of that old song Word Up. I forget who sings it.
Sounds like corn.
Yeah, exactly. You know that corn song Word Up?
Yeah.
Well, that's a remake of an older version of that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hey, pretty ladies around the world. It's unique. My question is, how does he get back up on that platform? He's got to land on something and then jump.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Just drink it, you bastard.
Yahoo! Just drink. You better not get my Yahoo. Yahoo!
I would love to have that complete series.
I do.
You have it?
I have all the seasons.
Where'd you get it?
I've had it for a while.
Really?
Sure have.
Dang, I didn't know that. I need to get it.
You better not get my Yahoo.
All I have... Oh, wait, yeah. Didn't we watch that at your old house?
We've watched some here.
No, we... Did we?
Mm-hmm.
I know we watched... whatever, my memories.
I'm pretty sure you've watched a couple here.
Just drink it.
Just drink it.
Sadly, I've always thought that joy was like stupid. Like people who do things they like are stupid.
Joy.
Yeah. Back in my religious conservative days, about judging the world and everybody being sinful and all that.
Right.
Earthly pleasures and whatnot.
Earthly pleasures.
Yeah. Like, wow, people care about fucking TV shows. Well, what about God? You know, that sort of dumbassery.
Dumbassery.
Yeah, that's dumbassery. I'm telling you, I was a prick, man. I mean, someone listening, I go, oh wow, you're still a prick. No, you have no idea.
Yeah.
You have no idea. So now I'm trying to like recapture a lot of the normal things that people did. Like collecting TV shows, you know, like just little, taking pleasure in stuff that isn't religion.
Right.
Religious based.
Yeah.
You know. It's kind of like I have to I've been relearning how to do that. It's pretty deep in my psyche. So I'm trying to unravel that and just, you know.
Understandable.
Just chill out.
Invisibility cloak.
Wait a minute. Did you walk through that because you had the power up? That doesn't make any sense. It's not okay. Well, it's not just it's not invisibility. It's something else.
Yeah, it's the invisibility cap. But see, they had to make it to where you could still see him.
But it can't. It's not invisibility. It has to be more than invisibility because you literally walked through matter. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's got to have another word for it.
What would be another word for it?
Transcendental? No. I hate you. Just drink it. I'm not gonna unhear that now.
Yeah.
For as long as you play this game, I'm gonna hear that.
not get my Yahoo. Yahoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your voice is too deep, too goofy. You can do Pete though. You do a quick Pete.
Hey there, girl. Welcome to Spoonerville.
I always like that name, Spoonerville. I love that.
Makes me think of anal.
How so?
Spooner.
Oh my God! You drew that parallel, like spooning.
When I think of Spoonerville, I think of either a wooden spoon or somebody getting dick in their ass.
Like spooning.
Yes, spooning. Spooning.
Oh boy.
Technically, that's not spooning. It's
Yeah.
spooning is when two people are sleeping and one has their penis on behind the other person's butt. Pretty much. It doesn't have to be anal.
Are you sure you want this to go public?
I just sure, why not?
Okay.
More of a big bully.
Oh boy. It makes me think of like a greasy spoon. Like, you know that phrase, greasy spoon? I love that phrase. You know what a greasy spoon is, don't you?
Just a greasy spoon, no. Not metaphorically, I don't.
So you're a damn literature major, don't know what a fucking greasy spoon is.
Nope.
It's like a restaurant, like just a, it's not a high quality restaurant, it's just like a burger joint, like a local, like a truck stop.
Okay.
I think they call it a greasy spoon because the assumption is the dishes aren't washed properly. You know, it's just a term for it's a term for a low class restaurant, basically.
Okay.
I think that's right. That's the best as I can describe it. It's called a greasy spoon. It's very common. I'm surprised you don't know that.
Okay.
But that's what, and I always picture literally like a spoon covered in like cold canola oil, where it gets all gloppy and gelatinous. That'd be a good logo for something. Now, what's the logic behind that? How is he able to actually climb up that? Like walk up that? In this universe, how is he able to do that? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh, no. It might be a cartoon.
Oh,
He can break the laws of gravity
he breaks the laws of gravity, but he can't.
and matter. Yeah.
But he can't fly unless he has a flying hat. So let's just pick the rules we obey.
Exactly.
It would be fine if the rule was broken as long as they tell you why it's broken. There's just this
Right.
pillar there, and it's like, oh wow, you can run up it.
Right.
What's the logic behind that? There's not even a tutorial level for it. Like, it's not even introducing a new game mechanic. It's just, well, it's broken. We'll just ship it out. What was the last game you played that triggered me?
Probably Sonic the Hedgehog.
You're right, that one did trigger me, but I thought there was a 3D one. Zelda, maybe? No, surely not Zelda. Probably was Sonic. You're probably right.
You couldn't stand Sonic because of how it was made
Yeah.
to go real fast.
The game plays itself, it seems like. The game plays itself, then you jump every now and then. Number one. Let me just say something about it. Let me say something. I think, in my opinion, Sonic was doomed from the beginning for me.
Really?
Because I'm not going to be satisfied either way.
Right.
Number one, if the game plays itself, that annoys me.
Right.
When you hit the boop boop, you hit the little boop things and it sends you running and you don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That annoys me. But then it also annoys me when you're in the middle of that and then you have to do something. It's like you have to jump or you have to avoid this.
Right.
That annoys me too. So I'm unhappy when I don't play it and I'm happy when I play it. It's doomed from the start.
Sounds like a bad marriage.
I love that piano though. I love that enemy. I love the way it looks, it sounds. It was creepy as hell as a kid. Just that. It's coming up, ain't it? Or did you already? It's in one of these rooms.
I passed it.
Oh, damn. And that eyeball's cool too. One day I'll play Sonic again and just in real time break it down. Because compared to Super Mario World, how can you pick Sonic?
Oh, I love Sonic. I would pick Sonic over it.
That's because you're having your nostalgia glasses on. That's objectively, if you compare the two, I bet you would pick Super Mario. But your memory.
I think I would still pick Sonic. Super Mario is. What's the word I'm looking for? Too linear.
Not vertical enough. Sonic's linear too. You go from left to right. You go from left to right in both games. What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the loop-de-loops? You like the loop-de-loops?
I like the loop-de-loops.
Is that what you mean? What do you mean by
yeah, the loop-de-loops.
It's Mario's too blocky, too square.
Yeah, there's too many damn squares.
Not enough circles.
Yeah. The enemies march at you in a row. Of course, Sonic does that too.
See, I knew you. I knew I'd get this out of you. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. You poor.
It has nothing to do with objective gameplay.
You poor kids. See, that's exactly what I've been thinking from the beginning. Poor kids have their nostalgia glasses on because they had the misfortune of having a Genesis instead of a Super Nintendo. Well, I was one of the lucky ones. Sonic's overrated. Overrated.
I love Sonic.
Let's see that. Why isn't that? Oh, there he is. I love that. Yes. I love that. I love the way it sounds, the way it looks. It's so creepy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the chocolate room. Dun, 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 dun.
It's yours because you want it more.
And we'll be in a world of pure imagination. Living there, you will see into your imagination.
We'll begin with a spin.
Traveling in the world of my creation.
You know what? The Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Going old school.
Oh, yeah.
On those Nintendo 64. Damn. That's what I'm talking about.
This is a hard game.
I'm
not good at Mortal Kombat at all. I rely on the same moves.
What made you decide? You know what the secret to fighting games is?
What?
Switching it up.
I'm not good with the controls.
All you gotta do is switch up the verticality and the whether you hit or kick. It's all about the switching it up. Watch, let me try one. So I'm assuming, let's see, I'll figure it out. Watch this. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, shit. Oh, my God. What am I doing? Wait, time out. Wait, do you have to restart the... Hold on. I need to figure out what does what. A punches. That's what was messing me up. Wait, B also punches. How do you kick? Oh, that's what's messing me up. I got it now. See what I mean? Alright now, you little bitch. Okay. Okay, hold on.
Yikes.
I'll be one guy, then I'll be done.
You're good. Oh, 4 credits.
Wait. They put credits in this?
Yep, sure did.
Oh, shit.
Are you kidding? Yeah, I'm not. I'm done. I'm triggered.
You're triggered.
Yeah. I swear I'm usually better at fighting games. You can ask my cousin. He's a gamer. You can ask my brother too. The key is high punch, low kick, jump kicks, uppercut. Just alternate. Almost 4 hours. When I cut it up, it'll be shorter. Yeah, I had no idea. I'm glad I got that out of you. I really am. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought you were as confident as I was, as I have been feeling, I guess. But it's one of those things where we just swap. I swear we swap.
We do. We really do. There's a lot that goes into it for me.